So we are live here with Nicholas Anthony Pearce on the harsh streets of London, and Ben on the in the harsh houses of London.
Okay, you say harsh streets of London. This is literally just the driveway to like block of flats, which I probably shouldn't do too much of because I don't want people stalking me. So you know.
So we had to start recording now because this moment was priceless.
Yeah. Actually, you know what? To be fair, no, people can see this all they want. I'm moving soon, so it actually doesn't matter. Look, there you go. Here's where I live, everyone.
Oh no, they can all see.
Come find me. I'm not telling you my address, but like, if you recognise this area, then you deserve to stalk me, I guess. So there you go.
Well, this is going to be a Team Cake video about the new format, Nick's personal experience having been an absolute champion and made it through day 2 and come 9th place, just bubbling on percentage.
Jake, that's not how you pronounce absolute luck sack.
Oh, come on now. Come on. It wasn't all luck. I mean, it was Night March format. I'm not salty whatsoever, I swear. Yeah, well, the video is going to be basically a discussion on that, but I had to start recording now because Nick went on Hangouts from the street, and that was too much to pass up as a.
Yeah, we are now in the lift.
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, no, your internet might cut out.
No, it's fine. Look, we're all good.
Oh, stay, internet, stay.
Oh.
We are also here with good old Ben Platolski. We'll be grilling Nick with some questions and a grill.
Yeah.
Oh shit, Nick! Now I know you live on floor 4. What did you do? No.
This is like really dodgy. I just realised. Hold on, almost there.
Well, this is.
I know. I won't reveal my flat number. I'll keep people guessing.
What? You know what's really bad is that
What?
Wait, I've forgotten what I was gonna say.
It's pretty bad.
Oh, what's bad is we've already broken the new YouTube thingies for monetization. So it's a good thing we have no monetization on these videos. Need a following first.
Yeah. Not allowed to swear. Or do anything.
or say anything critical of YouTube. Go on, Nick.
So
Mail.
now everyone knows where the most prolific UK Pokemon player lives.
Well, Nick, I have some really important questions to ask you. Number 1, has it helped you pull?
No.
Damn.
No.
Wait, but didn't you spoon with Joe at Worlds?
Nah. No, he said that would only be happening if I won, and I didn't, so...
Oh, wow.
Nick. God's sake! Win next time!
I'm sorry! Like, if anyone, blame Joseph and Luke and all the other people I played against for like, doing bad afterwards.
Well, this is now going in the
Yeah.
video, and Luke will watch it, hopefully, at some point, so... well, funny, are you still getting back from Joe's? Have you just, like...
No, I came back from another birthday, actually. It was
okay.
my cousin's birthday. So.
Fair enough. Yeah, I continued my never lucky streak last night in poker, where this is what always happens. I have to work really hard to just about lose. Great stuff. It's my life as. So that's my world's experience. 2-1-2 with Totina.
I had a pretty good Worlds experience. I didn't attend.
You watched the stream.
I watched the stream and watched only USA players.
Yep.
And a ton of awful like misplays and cheaty plays. I'm pretty disappointed with, honestly.
It's kind of what happens when if someone's a cheater, they tend to cheat on stream as well. Even though you'd think, like, why would you cheat on stream? That's the stupidest idea ever. If you cheat, don't do it on stream. But they just do. Just can't. Just what is that? Like, I think they're just so used to doing it, they continue doing it on stream.
I think
Yeah.
the disappointing thing for me, and I've sort of mentioned this in discussions before, is that there seems to be this confirmation bias and between North America and Europe, and both sides are guilty of it a little bit. But I do think it falls. I was about to say I think it falls a little bit more on the North American side, but again, that's probably just confirmation bias coming from my side as well.
Coming from the fact that you're in Europe. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. So I won't say that, but it does seem that for both sides there seems to be a little bit of saying, we're great and stuff, and the other side is, always misplays and things like that. And what I was trying to say when this was actually being discussed in the chat for the Danish NAF stream, and I said, look, people, it doesn't matter where you're from, there's always going to be good players. You're going to see people misplaying on stream, you're going to see people doing good plays on stream. It's not an exclusive thing to either region.
Yeah.
It happens in both. And it literally, the first reply after I said that was, all I've seen from European streams have got people misplaying, people being bad. And thinking,
yeah. I think I remember this. We also. Sorry, go ahead, man.
I was going to say, I agree with it. So I remember a while ago I got quite annoyed at someone misplaying on stream, and then I think Luke Kirkham came in just saying, it happens on stream. I wasn't really upset with it happening so often. It was just more the fact that it was literally every round, and it wasn't misplays so much as people actually just doing things you can't do, like max elixering to a mega.
Yeah.
When the judges didn't catch it at all, every single time.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That's the bit I was mainly upset about, the judging, I think.
Yeah, I will say one thing,
especially on
I've noticed it, as Nick said, more from Americans. Again, maybe just my own bias here, but we see very little respect of any region's players. Now, Europe has good players. That must be known. They must know Europe has good players.
Yeah.
Just as we know America has good players. There is no doubt in my mind the best American players are on the level, or maybe some better than the highest level European players. But obviously, they're good.
Yeah.
But they seem to think there are no good European
I'm also
players.
equally agreeing, because I'm not trying to say that all American players are bad, because like you just said, that's not true.
Yeah, of course not.
There needs to be a little bit of mutual respect.
Yeah, and I think some of the normal people or people who aren't full on autism mode do respect the fact that regions have any region has good players. I think
anyone who's of a high enough standard, as a player, respects that both regions have got good players.
And I didn't mean to offend any actually autistic people here.
Talk trash about the opposing region do tend to be the players who don't do as well. The really good American players and the good European players, you don't really see them.
Yeah.
It's usually some little fanboy or something saying, "Oh, the US is better than the UK," or vice versa.
And I think America sort of has to respect the number of tournaments we have here, and the number. So in the UK, just alone, every single tournament I go to, I will be against 6 out of 6 world's players essentially, and that's and by world's players I mean high level good players, people who've made day 2, for example. Every time, every tournament, and it's unescapable. And I wouldn't mind giving it a go in America, just seeing if maybe not easier, but it might just be 9 rounds and 4 of them say are against trash players. That'd be nice.
Yeah,
just maybe.
I think Ryan made quite a good point for that, because I think that's one of the first times someone came over to America and just kind of showed that they can dominate.
Yeah. Echo.
Wait, what?
There's so much echo. Nick, you're on twice now.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to hang up on the other side.
Okay.
Oh.
that killed me.
Because Ryan went over there and he dominated, 2 cities in a row without losing a game or losing 1 game.
Yeah, and
it's in Florida as well, which isn't an easy region in the US at all.
Yeah.
He beat their national champion as well.
Yeah. It just kind of shows that you can't underestimate either region. And saying for the ECC, was it the senior division?
Yeah,
the US and won that.
Came
so
over
it's
to ECC. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, there are good players from everywhere. So now we've cleared that one up, and hopefully, no one ever again will bother with that. This silly.
Okay, are there any good Aussies?
I actually played against. Oh, he might have been from New Zealand. Can't remember. He was playing
for the ANZ region.
He was playing Volcanian Flareon. really nice guy, Paul Coletta, I think, had a really fun match. He actually took one game, and I was playing Totina, so gotta give him some credit for that. Yeah.
I got wrecked by someone from a venture of New Zealand in an expanded side event at Worlds.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, I was only joking. I was just picking on like some random region.
But yeah, so I guess since me and Nick are here, we'll briefly talk about like how we felt about the World's event, everything about that as well first.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nick, any comments, criticisms, any whatever?
I mean, I like the venue more than last year, but at the same time I liked it less. I liked it more for some reasons and less for some other reasons. I think San Francisco, great city, obviously. To get to walk around, do stuff there, that was a great opportunity as well. I mean, Boston's great as well, but I didn't spend as long as I didn't really get much of a chance to sort of see around. So the actual tournament itself, I think the biggest issue was just there wasn't just not really enough space, to be honest. I think it was a slightly smaller hall, and they had way more players. And I don't think they were quite ready for the level of people they had. I mean, it got sorted in the end, but
yeah,
it was. I think that was the biggest issue.
My main issue was just like, I mean, it was in the like the Marriott sort of rooms.
The Marriott Marquee.
Yeah, like the space was okay, but like I mean the whole issue with competitor passes was a really annoying one for me personally, obviously. Like not competitor passes, just passes in general, and security the point of security I thought might be to check people's bags and stuff. Not a single time was anyone's bag checked. And it's not like it's like last year it was 2 competitors that was a security threat. So getting a competitor, the whole pass thing, and oh look, my badge says competitor. It's like, okay, you're not gonna like even check my bag? You know, there might be a gun in someone's bag here. Are you gonna... No? Okay, fine. Whatever.
That sounds pretty silly after last year, if I'm honest.
And
it feels like they tried to increase security a lot for this event, but then just didn't.
But then didn't do it properly.
Players, yeah.
It makes you think that the whole competitor pass thing was more to try and deal with the space issue rather than anything else, but it still wasn't really enough.
No,
I mean, that shouldn't be an issue anyway.
Space is not an issue if you just hire a place. And if you're trying to put on a world event, you maybe hire a place that can also fit the side events in the same building.
It's not like a small game.
No,
it's Pokemon.
I mean, there were 500 odd. I mean, there were 400 something competitors in Masters alone. So, yeah, I'll briefly talk about. Well, basically, I had to wait in a queue for an hour and a half because of this nonsense to get in. To then be told to fucking sit down by the head judge. Aggressively, when I told him to not swear at me, he was like, "Are you kidding me right now, man?" Like, absolutely terrible person, and I really.
Just to clarify, that is an exact quote. Like, he wasn't like Jake Rogers was saying, "Oh, he told me to fucking sit down." Like, the judge actually, literally said that sentence.
"Fucking sit down, man." Yep. Yeah. Because I had briefly went and spoke to a friend for literally like 30 seconds after waiting for 90 minutes with a queue probably of the same length still behind me. I'd missed the opening ceremony, missed the time that the player meeting was supposed to be. I think my ankles still hurt from the amount I had to was standing up. Like, honestly, I really I don't care. I really hope he gets fired. I hope he's never judging again in the tournament. That alone was the worst experience in the whole game I'd ever had. That is worse than any 25 heads, tails, flips, any nonsense like that. Like,
DQs as well?
I swore very casually. Yeah, twice I've been DQ'd. Once I swore very casually at a judge who was a good friend, and I got DQ'd. And this guy swore aggressively at me, and then like essentially after in a way threatened as well. I was like, you know, why are you talking to me like this? And he's like, oh well, you know, if you have any problems in the day, I'm the head judge. Blah blah blah. At the time, I didn't know he was the head judge. He was just some guy in a professor thingy talking to me. I was like, you just don't talk to your players like that. Yeah, no, it probably like it definitely threw me off. I don't know how much I can put down my 2-1-2 record to that, but it's genuinely the worst experience I've had in the whole game ever. So
It's pretty terrible.
that was cool. That bit, aside from that, it was okay. The side events being in a different building entirely, I thought was just like awful. Like it makes it not part of Worlds anymore. I couldn't go to a side event and then on the Saturday and then check up on how my teammates are doing. I didn't actually end up being in the main venue at all on the Saturday.
Like, compared to the one Worlds I went to, I can't imagine, like, everything you were saying, like, compared to that Worlds. It just doesn't seem right at all.
So, like, the setup...
Like, it's such a different experience.
The setup was the worst of it, and I think what they're... See, they're trying to make it like an esport, which, right, that's cool, but there's a junior division. So, so I'm not sure, really. Like, maybe... Like, the reason they're doing this, they're putting in enough prize support to make it, like, esport level. Which, okay, that's really great. It really, like, I mean, people getting free trips and being able to take their kids to San Francisco to play a game they're good at. It's just really cool. But then what they're trying to do is, because they're putting in that amount of money, they're trying to make it actually esport level. But the problem is a lot of things like esports have other, like, community aspects to them as well. Like Hearthstone has just hundreds and hundreds of tournaments that are completely, like, community oriented with actual prize money because they allow for sponsors and advertisers. Of course, Pokemon doesn't want any of that. Like, I think if Pokemon wasn't so stringent about its, like, trademarking and stuff like that, we'd be like one day away from a full-on tournament circuit, but competing with the actual world, like how you have with Smash Bros and things like that. Like most of the good tournaments unofficial.
It's like any sort of thing like that.
Yeah, and
because I remember Smash. I had a real issue with Smash Bros because they just really made it as competitive for the longest time and just didn't give them any sort of
and
permission to do anything.
And even
Nintendo themselves don't have as much of a finger in Pokemon though. Most of that is managed openly by the Pokemon company, so you never know in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are just some criticisms which I hope if any one from them watches, maybe they listen to, maybe they don't maybe they listen to their players once in a while, and like for example, I've always noticed this, like a lot of the judging staff are great. I won't say that. Like we had Glenn actually on the final stage. Judging juniors in the final. We had a UK poker dad in a final. That's good. Most of the time it's perfectly fine, but it's like that's because most of the time nothing's happening. When there's an actual issue, I don't know what it is, but everything seems to go to shit. Like an actual issue, and then it's just like no one can handle anything anymore. And I don't know. I think that's pretty bad. There needs to be something about I'm probably going to get into trouble, but whatever. There needs to be something about, like, the level of judging in terms of how they talk to you or how, like, because they don't... A judge is right in not caring about one competitor over another, but they don't care about competitors. They're just hoping the tournament runs smoothly. But guess what? It doesn't. It doesn't at all. Because the tournament is the players. The tournament is completely the players. Like, they don't have a tournament without the players. So maybe they just need to, like, actually care and not just go, oh, like, for example, no lunch break at Worlds in an 8-round tournament. It's just horrendous. That's actually awful. I don't care if it finishes at 2 a.m. I'm someone who's making your game exist. I'm playing here, you give me something back, you give me a lunch break, for example. Like, there's so many things they need to improve on, it's just unreal. And they won't.
I think the reason why there was a lunch break was because of the delay getting in. I think they planned for one, but they had to scrap it because of what happened with the...
So
that's not good enough, though, really.
So I had to wait an hour and a half to get in, to then have no lunch break because of them. They can just not do any of that. Maybe
they can dance around it and try and justify it, but at the end of the day, like, it's a world champ.
I'm not saying that's the way it should have happened. I'm saying that's
I understand.
I'm just saying that it's not really acceptable.
The problem is, from this, right, it's less likely that they'll listen and take anything on board than it is that I will get in trouble for saying those things. Yeah. That just seems to be the way the company operate.
No, I don't think so.
You hope? I would hope not, but yeah.
I was gonna say, did you guys not get to see the opening ceremony?
Nope.
I saw it from the video stream in one of the side rooms. I didn't actually get into the actual venue.
No. See,
Okay, did this not happen last year as well? Because I remember having to tell people about the announcement of Puckin at Worlds.
I can't.
Well,
even
last
remember.
year everyone was in the same room, but there was still, because they were searching bags, it was a bit slower getting people in.
Oh yeah,
Okay, so
I was still in security.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this has been 2 years in a row where the players of the tournament have missed the opening ceremony.
Yeah.
Which seems insane to me.
The people who make the game exist.
Don't get to see, like
they don't realise
you
this.
get to be at home.
Without their players, they don't have tournaments. They don't have a tournament circuit. They have no notion of this, and it's kind of weird because obviously players aren't the people who put most money into it, but we still pay for events and stuff. We pay to get to an invite to then go. I don't know. The system seems like really bad. Something they need to improve. Whatever.
I was gonna talk on, I guess, the only thing I can because I was at home, and that's probably the production value of the stream.
Oh, that's one thing they've done really well.
Watching at home, I mean, what do you think they did really well on that?
I mean, I didn't watch most of it, but I know they're improving stuff here and there. Like,
I was gonna say from someone who's watching at home, like, I've seen the opening ceremonies and stuff, but going through the rounds, they kept skipping rounds, which was horrible.
Skipping rounds?
They were skipping rounds. I think they missed 3 rounds on stream.
I didn't know this.
So we were just everyone, and they weren't giving like any sort of update on what's happening or that they were skipping rounds. I was just watching round 1, and then all of a sudden it's like round 3, then it's round 6. Like, it's just not really.
I think I might know why that was.
Sure.
It was.
I didn't know this at all.
This was. I'm not sure entirely because I'm not like a legal expert or anything like that, but it might be something to do with that California has weird work laws. Like I think that's what it is.
I know that they have but they can still either hire more commentators or still show the game, but without a commentator, because it's just give it an update saying that they're not streaming this.
Yeah.
Because it's ridiculous.
There are a lot of things they could improve on.
But the other main problem I think I had was that they showed. I know because their main demographic over there is towards the Americans, but they showed clear sort of commentating bias towards Americans and stream bias because they only commented really on Americans, and every round was an American on stream. Like, they were saying how this is a top American player, and then they got beaten or they won or whatever, and they'd only talk about American players, how they're doing in the tournament. That's the only thing they seem to care about. And when it got to top 8, it feels like they were trying to focus on this Ross Cinderella story because they wanted him to win. So instead of showing a matchup that people wanted to see, we see like Mega Ordino. Like, why would you not show that in top 8? They show Ross and some other American dude, and then the round after they show the same American dude and not Ordino.
Yeah, like that Ordino, they didn't know that it was going to make it through. That's definitely the deck to show. And also, like, commentators having a bias doesn't really make a great, like, watching experience if it's supposed to be the official thing.
You know the top players in America. If you're an American, why not highlight? You just do some research on some of the other players coming in.
Like our stream, the UK stream, I've gone back and watched a lot of that, and honestly, Nick, you, Joe, Puka, whoever else, like amazing job. There was none of what Ben's saying in our stream at all. It was one of the best Pokemon tournament streams that's ever happened.
What did David do before the tournament? He went round to each player and asked what
they were
I'm
playing.
assuming I'm allowed to say this, but he asked what deck people were playing.
I think you're allowed to say.
You saw him doing it.
Yeah,
it's like secret.
Yeah, he asked him
to say that, so he good matchups and just Like, there's a lot of effort and research into that, which I really respect.
Like,
and the fact they didn't use a single international commentator, I think is just a slap in the face, really.
Yeah, like I mean, even at UK we had David, right?
We had David.
We had Puka.
Like,
I mean, we had
Julian as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Julian Sharp. He was like the one commentator we had who I didn't know as well beforehand going into it, but met him, like, lovely, great guy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's really cool. I think there was a really good balance there, and also, like, I mean, of course, like, it's a bit, I don't know, like, it's fine if you are yourself hosting a tournament thing, and then you're like, oh, my mate's in this, I want him to win. But, like, even if I were, like, you know, commentating, say, a top 8 game at Worlds with a good friend, an American player, I think I'd not keep saying that I want the person to... Because I've not watched the world stream, so I can't really comment on this. I thought... well, I know the US national stream was pretty good, I think. So they had, like, the action replay kind of thing, I think was a really cool idea. Prize camera was quite cool until people played Town Map.
Yeah. I don't know why they didn't change the camera so that they... you can still see the prizes on screen.
Yeah,
or even they could have just asked the players to just bring the prizes into view as well.
Yeah, but they don't want to do that because they have to have it in the specific.
Yeah.
Because Pokemon, like I think you said earlier, they don't like changing things.
No, they don't like I don't know, like, if my deck's slightly tilted because I'm drawing cards from it, they're like, no, it has to be straight at all times. It's like, does it have to be straight when I'm shuffling it? Like, they don't seem to understand that, you know, things happen in intermediate ways. Like, they don't have to be in a perfect form. And now, Nick, just a little clarification that none of Nick's opinions are affiliated with TPCI.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
just
I was like,
we'll put a disclaimer.
I don't mind it that much when judges do it. It's just, they have to be right when they're doing it. Like,
yep, and maybe not in the middle of your turn.
Yeah, maybe not in the middle of your turn while you're doing the thing.
like, if I'm drawing cards from my deck, can you not move it at that exact moment? That's gonna make something bad happen. Like, I get why it should be vertical, blah blah blah, just wait a second.
Or if you're going to do that, can you, like, pick up when people attach 2 energies in a turn?
Like, it's not the end of the world. Okay, if I accidentally see a card as I'm drawing it and I show my opponent right, that's not the end of the world. Do you know what is a bit more worse? A bit worse, whatever? 2 supporters and a turn on stream, double attaching energies, you know, all the things that they missed several times. An extra Shaman off an Ultra Ball and another Pokemon, Max Elixir to a Mega. Like, if you don't just know the clerical rules, right, and be so fastidious with them, they're not important compared to the game state or the game rules. And I'm saying this as a player, and I think you know, that opinion would be respected by most players. Like, we get that.
Well, especially considering the. I think you, as everyone probably knows, have quite a bit of experience in the way of double supporters.
Yep, I'm very, like, mine was caught straight away, and that was right, and that was good. And I lost $2,000 or whatever, but it's fine. It was caught. That was what the judges should be doing. That's on like. That was
horrible as it is, you know, that's what should have happened.
That's exactly right. And then the correct ruling was given, and you know, like, I don't know, it's like they're not attentive to game state when that's the whole thing that's happening. They're just like little clerical things, like, you know, a number of times, just like, a card is slightly diagonal. It's like, okay, I'll move it 3 degrees round. Like, maybe don't bother me. I'm trying to play a game. I'm one of your like consumers, as it were. Like, that seems to be the thing. Okay. Anyway, let's end this run.
Can we not get warnings for having stadiums the correct way around?
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Maybe it's like, if they cared a little bit more about their consumers, that might be a good idea, because then they get more consumers. Just from a business perspective. So any execs listening, just business.
Hire Jake.
I don't. No, thank you, because I'll become like them. Yeah, and Nick's just checking if he can get in trouble for this, so don't worry.
No, that's actually not what I'm checking at all.
Is there anything Nick wants to say on this? Because we kind of...
Yeah, sorry, I've ranted a bit.
I mean, look, I've done judging, okay, and Ben has as well. We know that it's obviously very hard to get everything right, but obviously, yeah, you got to make like the best effort you can to try and make it so. And again, sort of clarify personal opinion here, but I do agree with Jake in the sense that if you should try and make an effort to try and catch the things that actually break game states rather than sort of clerical things, because yeah, stadiums go vertically. That is just like a thing. So sideways stadiums, no, just no. Because
Or like if someone does put it sideways, that's not the end of the world either.
no, that's true. But
But
let's get
don't
a
move
warning
it.
for putting it sideways or not putting it sideways.
Yeah, just
that's
leave
the point
it.
where it becomes a problem.
Like I'm trying to play here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just like if you're at a table next to someone watching the game intensely, like you should be watching it as intensely as the players are, knowing what's happening. So you shouldn't be getting things like that wrong. If you're like if you're just like a table judge walking around, then obviously you can't see everything. But if you're on stream at the table of the World Championships, then there should be some level of like just expertise there. I don't know how else to put it.
Like again, most judges perfectly fine with this. It's just that there are enough incidences that this is an issue.
Yeah, I think it's very important to make a distinction that although obviously it's a very large complaint, it is a minority. Really,
Yeah.
And
I will say that. Like my complaint with the World's tournament, it probably just comes down to a few people booking a place and making a decision, and then everyone else has to go along with it. Like I think in most of the time, it's just like one small thing that can change.
I think at the end of the weekend, do you think you genuinely enjoyed it though? Because I think that's one of the main things to take away from it.
Yeah, a bit. There were many things about it that made me very happy as well, and obviously Nick come in, well, I would have been a bit. I'm glad it was a 5% resistance bubble, if not a 0.5%. That was thank God for that.
That would have been brutal.
I think you'd still be crying, and I would be as well. Very, very proud. Like, a bunch of UK people made it through the tournament, and for the most part, it was otherwise fine. Like again, these complaints were like 3 minutes worth of complaints rather than. I mean, in talking, it took us about 10 minutes then. But, like, it was 3 minutes of my life that was bad there. But the rest of it, perfectly fine. And, Nick?
I was going to say, as well, literally, the first thing that I said when I went up to talk to everyone after I won the last round for the winning in, and Jake said to someone else that this would be the exact thing that I said, and I'm going to say it again now because I still want it to be true. I have no idea how it happened.
Yeah, I knew like that would be the exact thing you come up and said. You'd come up and say after, and it's annoying actually because I wasn't even there because side events are in a different building. Wow, I'm complaining again. Like the world's experience otherwise to that was okay. It was a bit of a shame like guests couldn't get in, and I have one more complaint actually. Like guest passes, so you even if you try and get them on the Friday, if you don't get them, you then have to reapply to get them the next day. Yeah, like it's just, and that's like a 6 a.m. thing you have to do because if you get there later, you won't get in.
Okay, the other thing is they announced this a week before Worlds.
Yeah. That was a big thing.
That's not acceptable.
Yeah.
People are booking holidays way.
We booked in April.
Yeah.
Honestly, probably
you just can't do that too.
We probably wouldn't have booked had that been known before, and I would have gone just by myself for about 5 days. And rather than 2 weeks. So yeah, I booked a 2 week.
Did Laura still enjoy herself though, at least?
I mean, she didn't go into the event at all, because she went around San Francisco.
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, she enjoyed that part.
Yeah.
The
I mean, that's more complimenting the city rather than actual.
She would have been fine, just sat in the venue, not doing anything. Had been able to get in, and obviously then I could. Yeah, I don't know. It was just whatever. It'd have been better had people guessed me up. Like only one parent for minors. Like cool. Let's book a family holiday. Oh, you can't. You have to do. You can't be here because you're the other parent. Like, yay, great for me. Yeah. So
I think book a bigger venue.
Yeah, book a. So there's the thing. Otherwise, like, The problem is, with a tournament, when it runs well, you can't really talk, like, there's no, what do you talk about? You just say, oh, it ran well. Like, there's nothing particularly that makes it, like, a good thing. It's just when it's not bad, it's good. And the bad things that occurred, we've listed them all, essentially. And the good things was every single thing else. So, it's a bit hard to, like, talk about that.
Yeah. Maybe we have spent basically half an hour ranting about well, maybe we should move on.
Yeah. So, well, let's go to your day one, Nick. Let's go to what your day one run was. Now you made it through with Night March. I have the list, so I'll make like a little list video, I guess. You've already posted them on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
And so I'll make a little. Yeah.
So the day one list I played was pretty much very sort of straightforward, not that many tricks apart from kind of last minute I decided to put in a poker puff over something. I actually can't remember why I cut the poker
Your
puff.
cut was the 4th Shaman, and thank God for that.
Oh yeah, that was it.
Whereas my cut to that was the 3rd Stadium, but I didn't play Night March. Yeah. So do you want to talk about your run? Yeah.
I mean, I'm really bad at talking through things round by round, so I'm not gonna bother doing that particularly that much.
No,
but I will say I went 5. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Keep talking, boy.
I went 5-0-3, so 5 wins and 3 ties, which is the equivalent of zone. It was enough to get through.
Yeah.
I will say the last round was kind of funny because I was sitting on 5-0-2.
Yeah.
Right, so all I needed was a tie to get in, and there were 3 people on 5-0-2.
Yeah.
And of course, I was the one person who had to get a pair against someone who needed to win.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
And so
it was against a Japanese guy, not the guy, obviously not the guy who ended up winning because I knocked this guy out, unfortunately. But he was playing Night March with double Galvantula and double Shrine of Memories.
Oh boy.
Whoa, that is spicy.
It's very spicy. It was, and in that match, I ended up winning along game 1, and game 2, I lost, but it was long game as well, so at that point I knew I was fairly safe. I wasn't just playing slowly, we were just playing over the course of a normal game, and we're setting up for game 3, and it ended up being a tie. And some of the Japanese guys were watching, and we signed for the tie, and I think they were kind of shocked that we actually signed it as that, because we thought, oh, doesn't mean you're both out, and then Tamao went over and explained to them, no, all it needed was a tie, so...
Yeah.
That's
fair.
insane that Galvantula's Shrine of Memories was it 5-2 at that point?
5-0.
5-0-2.
Yeah, he was 5-2.
He was 5-2 or 5-1-1 or something probably.
He was X1-1. That's why he was. He was X1-1.
That's insane.
That
The Japanese really impressed me.
Was that because, like, I guess he must have read that people were going to be playing like more unknown and stuff like that because of all the item lock, and then playing like Galvantula Hex on 2 unknowns. This actually happened to Charlie. On 2 unknowns means you get two prizes the turn after by Galvantula.
Double threats, pretty strong.
Yeah. So yeah, not a card I respect at all, honestly. But it did this guy pretty well, so I can't really be.
I mean, something else cool you can do with it with Shrine of Memories is that it sort of serves the same purpose as Vespergren, because of course it's grass and lightning. You play Shrine of Memories, you Night March with it, hit for weakness.
Oh no, what you know what it's the shrine sells that to me actually, and it's also got the higher HP to handle multiple quaking punches, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's grass type. Yeah, you're right.
Pretty cool.
That is literally something I only realised right now.
Okay. No, the grass typing is grass lightning typing was pretty good for this world, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It improves your Waterbox matchup as well. It makes that easier. You just deal with
Waterbox, Ninja Toad, that's insane.
Yeah, it actually makes it maybe positive. Waterbox. Like, Night March with Vesp is positive to Waterbox in my opinion. So
yeah.
And it's less clunky, I think. I assume it still played 2 Dim Valley.
I didn't see him drop one at one point. Because I remember at one point he had a pump active and he's such a DCE and he wasn't actually able to attack. So maybe just relying on opponents' DCEs because there'll be a lot of other Night Marches around.
Yeah, that's fair. Opponents' Dim Valleys, yeah, but yeah, okay. So who did you played someone from the UK, or you played quite a few UK players, right?
Yeah, I did.
That was a bit of a shame. So do you remember who you played day 1?
Day 1, it was Laura. I think it's Laura Durkin.
Oh, okay. who are your other opponents? Like, where are they from and who and whatever?
I'm trying to think back now. It was a fairly eclectic mix, from what
Yeah.
I remember. There was UK, Japan, couple of US guys. I won the round I played against. Sorry.
I remember you played Bram at the tournament, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I played against Grandma. That was one of my ties. He was playing Night March as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we tied that. I also played against Mr. 63 cards, Jake Dudzik. Jacob Dudzik.
Was that day one or
quite
two?
nice.
Was he still rocking 63 cards?
Yeah. Did you count his deck?
I didn't count his deck, but I would have hoped he learned his lesson. Yeah, he was literally the only person I played against both days. He actually said, "Oh, I recognize your name. You have Xanadu TCG, your YouTube channel, right?" Yes, so that was.
Did he say, "Oh my God, you're Joe from Omnipoke"?
No.
Up to your head.
He was playing Zygon Biofilm as well, and I actually won that match, so
Wow.
I'll take that.
Honestly, I think that was a deck that I'd seen a bit around before, but people were doing quite well with that at Worlds. I think it didn't make it to it. Did any make it to the top 8, or was it a
I
little
don't think
short?
so.
No. Yeah. So, yeah. What about your day 2? You played quite a few like known people then as well, right?
Well, round 1 I go against Tord Reklev, who's probably the best player in Norway, and he was playing Zygon Biofilm again, and I tied, but I could have taken it to a win. I made a misplay in the ending terms of game 3. So I hexed myself so that I could turn off Biofilm and play items for a turn. I ultra all away a Trainer's Mail on something else. What I could have done instead is Trainer's Mail for my last Versus Seeker, convert that into a Lysander straight away. Then once Biofilm turns back on, I have a means of taking the game because he managed to score for 1 extra turn because he put a Aegis Flash active, and I had no way of dealing it to take my last prizes.
Ah, man.
I was gonna say, you should probably say what deck you played for day 2, because it was different.
Oh yeah, it was different deck for day 2.
Yeah, I played exactly 11 cards different, that's what it was. And again, cannot give enough credit to Tamao Cameron for basically coming up with this concept, because this is pretty much crazy. And we called it Salty Box. And
yeah, looking at the list is just insane.
Yeah, so what Salty Box is, in case any of you haven't seen, Night March, but you take out the Fury Belts, you put in Muscle Band, you put in 3 Psychic Energy, a 3rd Dimension Valley, Latios, Cybertoad,
and like extra
Mew.
Mew, yeah.
And almost extra salty.
There was one card as well you're forgetting, Nick.
Almost extra salty.
Yeah, one extra silk card.
1 Super Scoop Up.
Yeah! 50% chance at a dead card.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's such a, like... I'd say it's a fairly high... Like, I think the deck itself internally seems quite high variance, but it's actually pretty consistent in how it operates, really.
Yeah.
You just do the same shit as Night March, but you also can donk.
Yeah, the exact concept of it is because Night March in and of itself is so consistent, you can get away with having some of this stuff. And especially if you're going to day 2 of Worlds, you want to go big or go home. Like, going in between, there's not really much benefit to that, unless you specifically want to try and only win, like, I don't know, 1,000 or 2,500. But if you're going big, then it just makes sense because, especially in an MS game where you're expecting a lot of Night Marchers, or even if ninjas, if they don't start Talonflame, they start with Throw Key. There's so many 60 HP or lower basics, so Latios and Muscle Band, you just do all of those and you just steal wins you have no business getting otherwise.
And you played, was it 2 or 3 Muscle Band?
2 Muscle Bands.
2, that's good. Yeah, because Night March is so consistent with all compressors and everything. Your chance at a turn 1 Latios donk, with especially his 3 Mews, 3 Psychic Energy, is actually really high.
Yeah,
Like,
and
really
also,
good.
there's one other card, you play 1 Ninja Boy as well.
1 Ninja Boy.
Yeah, Ninja Boy.
That's cool. Yeah, that I guess just improves your odds at turn 1. Yeah. And then any float stones, were they in there as well?
Just 1.
Just the 1, yeah. Yeah, just similar to Night March really, but with
Yeah.
a couple of changes. You took out, there's a key card that Night March plays that you didn't.
There's quite a few. It says what you consider key. I mean, it didn't play Whistle or Poker Puff Day 2.
Well,
so
puzzles.
that. And,
Puzzles with the cards.
Oh yeah. Yeah, puzzles at the time. Yeah, that's quite a big one.
Yeah. So, that's the biggest one, Nick. Yeah, no,
Yeah, I didn't notice it either, to be honest.
yeah, it's
You
a...
get, like 3 extra energy and...
You
That
didn't
is the main reason
play...
you can get away with it.
Yeah, you basically, it was like... swapping those kind of for more energy anyway, so it's kind of fine. Like Mew with a single energy can copy Night March. So
Yeah, they can. It's like the old Night March variant of UEX.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, except the Mew doesn't lose 2 prizes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's a really cool deck. Any other? So, do you remember your opponents from day 2?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, so toward round 1, that was tough enough, and then let's see if I can go through everything exactly. So maybe it's an Argentinian guy playing Metal Box at one point. That was it was pretty back and forth. Game 3, just drew kind of dead, and I managed to take a quick win. I did. He put up a beginner with a Fighting Fury on, and I dug to, because of course beginner has psychic resistance.
Yeah.
But I managed to dig for everything in one turn to get the turn 1 knockout.
As in doing 220 damage.
I believe so. Yeah, it was. I either did 220 or I did 200 with Joltik. I can't remember which one.
That's pretty good.
And then also, unfortunately, again, day 2, I played 2 UK players. I played Joseph Phillip and Luke Kirkham, which is just not what you want to do, really.
And those were 2 UK players who had both made it to day 2 from day 1 as well. Just yeah, we actually had so it was 5 UK players this time in day 2. Sorry, I genuinely forgot. Technically it's 6, but it was in my mind it was 5. Yeah, so we had Ryan and Tamao and someone else who got top 22, and then you, Luke, and Joseph all made it through day, and we had 2 players on the win and in as well. I think it may have been more, but yeah, Scott and Alex.
Yeah, Alex
went
went
day 1 specifically, not day 2.
On day 2.
Yeah, Alex went all the way back from 0-2 as well, I think. Oh no, he lost the first round.
Yeah.
He was really upset about it.
Luke made it all the way from 0-2 to 6-2 to get in there.
Yeah, that was it.
Insane.
It
was insane.
I remember seeing him at 0-2 and he was just like, what's the point? And I was just like, nah man, just win 6, you know?
He's really good under pressure,
yeah. That's true actually.
Yeah, I was really happy for both of them, and he got both of them. Yeah, both of them. Joseph and Luke. I was thinking Alex as well, but he didn't make it through. That was the point. But if you think of, I don't know, especially with Luke, because he was so close to top 22, that making it through was just really cool. And Joseph as well, actually. Joseph is sort of sneaking up in there. He had a really string of good results.
Yeah, he's been having some really solid results, in the last couple of tournaments. I think I don't know, he must just be on fire. I mean, the hair suggests that to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, and yeah, if you remember, actually, he was in everyone's Nationals fantasy draft, and then he comes top 4 at Nationals as well. Yeah. So
kind of by mistake.
gotta give him
the picture, even though he's commentating.
Yeah. Gotta give him some credit though. I can't remember exactly what his record was, but I mean, making day 2 is no easy feat. 8 rounds is a nightmare. I was out by round 5 because with at 2 wins and 2 ties, a loss sadly put me out.
Yeah.
That was to Waterbox, which Toad Tina does not like Waterbox.
No.
And
I've got a fun fact actually. So I played Latios obviously for the Donk. I played Night Marches. I did not play a single Night March day 2 at all.
Did you donk anyone day 2?
No, I didn't donk anyone. And it gets better. I announced 1 fast raid in the whole tournament, and it was against one of Joseph Phillips' size toads.
That's the little chip damage you needed, though.
Yeah, it was. I got a 2-shot KO because of it. So.
Nice. Yeah, that's a funny thing actually. In Toad Tina, I played the one Latios as well to try and get and a Mew, in fact. But no psychic, and I didn't think of that actually until round 3 of the tournament, so that's funny. But I aimed to get donks as well. I got 0 donks. I had one game where I nearly got a donk, but I started with a dead hand except for Latios DD Fury Belt against a lone Zoroark, and drew. I had no draw.
Oh.
So I did the 50, but he actually had 2 EXs in hand he didn't put down, and it was game 2. It wasn't even and game 1 was a 1 card off deck out type game, you know. I scooped because he had a 3rd N and he played that as his last card from You know, I literally, I had the game won on deck out, but he had 3N in his list, so he must have prepared for his me matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so he didn't put down the EXs, but then I missed the donk anyway. But yeah, I actually won that game still, so I'm quite happy with that. But I ended up tying the round. That was to metal. But yeah, you played another prolific player day too, right?
Last round, winning in, and two prolific plays actually. I won't go to winning yet because in my second to last round, I played against Simon Eriksson, who is of course one of Denmark's best players. Lock sacked him so hard, like not even joking. Like it's. If I can think about like one matchup like throughout the whole day where I won on pure luck, it was against him because he would like quaking punch me, and I'd draw into like 2 night marches and a sycamore, so that I can actually like sycamore discard 2 and get a knockout. Just like that's how dirty I'm talking.
You're saying like off an enter 2 or something.
Story of that.
Yeah, like an end 2 and end 3. Basically, every single time he ended me, I like got some use out of it. Basically, he was understandably salty with me.
Honestly, though, I did find with Night March, I actually tested Night March a lot. It was my other consideration play, but I went with to.for because I'm a moron, whatever. But yeah, and it would have been the same list as you. But honestly, I would have probably gone 0-2 and not made it through, and then gone, oh, I should have played to.for. So whatever.
Yeah,
but honestly, in testing, every single time I was every single time, and I'm talking maybe 30 odd games, I drew out of it. And that's me. And I don't draw cards.
It is one of the most end-proof decks, apart from the reason why I think it's more lucky is because it was under Quaking Punch as well. That's the other thing, and it was in games where I didn't have like a completely busto turn 1. I maybe only got like 5 Night Marches instead of 7 or 8. That's why it was particularly lucky against him.
Though to be fair, Night March not getting a busto turn 1 is actually unlucky now, really. So
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So to be fair though, the saltiest person in the end, Nick. Oh wait, no, go to your last round.
Here we go to the last round. Before I get to the last round, there's actually one other shout I want to give. Go back to day 1. In my 7th round, I played against Gonçalo, who's from Portugal, who is just an absolutely like, lovely guy. We were talking throughout the course of the tournament. We were like telling each other how we were doing and stuff.
Were you talking
about how we were both on decent record, and then we get paired against each other around 7, so one was not really out. And but we had a good game. He didn't draw. He just didn't draw that well either game really. I managed to just beat him with Night March, but he was super nice about it. He was saying like, Nick, I'm super happy for you. All the best. I really hope you're going to make it through. You're going to do really well. Just being like, yeah.
That's cool. That's like one of the things that makes this game like really amazing. Sometimes it's just most people are super nice, super friendly.
Yeah.
Like the New Zealand guy I played actually stopped me doing a double supporter. So, and I was sorry, go on. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say
I was just gonna say. Oh my god!
You speak.
You
speak.
Go.
Okay. Yeah, I just said I was like, oh, thanks, man. That's actually really it's really nice of you to do that. A lot of people wouldn't do that. And Quaking Punch, and I did that really just because we had been like having a laugh throughout, and I made him laugh by doing that. So. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, that's a really cool thing about Worlds. Like, I know there was a bit of a complaint at the start, but honestly, like, you get so many people from wherever, and we all most people seem to be, like, kind of the same way or similar enough way with the game that, like, I mean, people stopping you, throwing away. Like, I literally could have got a game loss from that. And given the guy a chance to make day 2 and all that, and he was like, no, nah. Stop, no. And like that sort of thing happens a lot. Like the number of times I versica'd for an N and my opponent went to put their hand on top of their deck. I was like, no, I'm not playing this N. You wait. You wait until I play. And there was once, honestly, like where the guy that just put his hand on the deck, like, and I was like, I haven't actually played the N, but don't worry, because I am definitely playing the N. So, like, I wasn't going to let the guy get a game loss. I wasn't going to, just hold on. I was doing, 2 more cards first. And you get that from everywhere. You get loads of people doing that.
Yeah, I think people in Pokemon realize that because if it was the opposite, they'd want it done to them, and so they
Right.
apply that golden rule, treat other people how you want to be treated, and
Yeah.
because there's that understanding, it just makes the whole experience a lot more fun.
Yeah.
The one last thing I wanted to say, by the way, before we move on to me talking about my winning in for day 2, it's there's 2 Gonçalos in Portugal. There's Gonçalo Ferreira and Gonçalo Ferreira. I played against Ferreira.
I played the other one, I believe, at 2013 Worlds. I can't remember for certain, but it was a friendly guy anyway. Yeah, like everyone from everywhere, more or less, is nice. Like that's actually just I can say that statement without fear of anyone going, oh no, everyone, oh not everyone, this person. No, almost everyone from almost everywhere. Perfectly nice people. Like there were people who the day before and everything would just see, like I'd see them in San Francisco. It's people I'd seen maybe once at ECC years ago or once at Worlds, and like, oh hey man, it's you, how you doing? I'm like, what's your name again? But yeah, like most people I remembered their face or something, say, and most people you just kind of remember and go, oh that's a nice person. I played them at so and so or talked to them at so and so. Like after every round, like this was a really common thing. It's like, oh yeah, I lost. Like someone would come up with a salt story. They'd be like, "Oh, I lost because I prized such and such." Blah 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 blah. Really nice guy though. That was like an add-on to every single time anyone talked about a game. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So good. Yeah, I'd say. Sorry, go.
Sorry, go on. I'll let you finish.
I was just gonna say yeah. So in that sense, really good experience for that part. But yeah, sorry, you know.
I was going to say that on stream I heard the commentator saying that there was like a Japanese guy and he'd give a piece of Japanese candy to every opponent he played.
Oh, wow.
What a lad.
I was like, this game just has some amazing people in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now on to the big old winning in. Who are you against? So
there I am sitting on would have been 4-1-1 at this point, thinking, don't understand how this has happened still. Like recurring theme. And I look at the pairing sheet. Frank Diaz.
Yeah,
oh
that's
boy.
Not a name you want to see.
Nope, that's not a name you want to see on the win and end.
No, I was thinking, oh boy. Okay. I found out that he was playing Waterbox. So I think to myself, okay, it's tough but winnable, So okay, I'm gonna go and whatever. Because the thing I did find was that in a way my day 2 list was better against Waterbox, but in a way it was worse. Because it was worse because I didn't have Megaphone to do or Fury Belts, but Underquaking Punch that's kind of not very useful anyway. What made it a bit better was the fact that because I was playing Psychic Energies and Muscle Band, what I could do is dump 10 Night Marches in the early turns if I could just get that setup going, put a Muscle Band on Mew, and then attach a Psychic, have 2 Night Marches ready on the bench, and I can actually just hit 220 on a Fury Belted Toad a lot easier.
Yeah, and then kill 2 more with either the Mews, copy a Night March, or... Because... Yeah, you weren't limited to one Mew like a lot of Night March decks play only the one Mew. And
so you aren't as afraid of discarding 10 Night Marches.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, go into the games then. Do you remember them well or?
I mean, it's a bit like trading sort of those. Game 1, I just managed to do that. I set up in a way where I can just have enough Night March discard pile. I take some big knockouts. He ends up scooping. Game 2 goes through and it's just sort of the opposite sort of happens in the early turns, and you get maybe like 5 Night Marches in, he quick punch me, and I can't really do much with it. And so I eventually scooped. Maybe should have scooped a bit earlier. But then we're going to game 3, and at this point, Frank basically says to me, "Look, we're going to have to play like fast if one of us wants to win Worlds," which is absolutely true because at this point we only had probably maybe 8 minutes left on the clock.
Right.
And so there we are, both of us just playing like absolute lightning. So I'm just like doing things which maybe could even like be questionable at the time, but because I have to play so fast, it's just I have to do it like that. And so I get a decent turn 1, so that's good. So I did the usual things like with compressors, ultra balls. I think actually at one point I'm forced to bench a Latios and put a float stone on it just so I can draw more with Shaman, but that's fine because that can just be a free retreating floater. Then it goes into Mike's turn, and Frank's turn even. And he's doing the same thing. He's playing super fast and he's just doing 3 plays Max Elixir, plays another Max Elixir, sets up some stuff, plays a Shaman, draws some cards, and Sycamores. And I notice that there are too many cards that he just discarded. And so we count back up, and we see the cards that he's played, and yeah, he actually drew up to 7 with a Sycamore instead of 6. So it's like...
With the Shaman, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah, with Shaman.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go on.
So he drew too many Shaman, and he Sycamore straight away, and I noticed that, like, hold on, that seems like way too many cards at the discard pile.
That is
like, 'cause he's spraying
amazing
sort
to notice.
Wow.
Just after playing stuff as well?
Well, sorry?
After, like, so he drew with the Shaman, then he played some cards, then Sycamore, right?
No, he played some cards to draw more of the Shaman, and then he Sycamore straight away.
Right, okay. But that's still pretty, like, you just noticed by looking the number.
It just seemed like too many cards, and we worked it out backwards, and because none of the other cards played sort of made sense. It was just the two Max Luxors in there, so we took it all back, and he agreed, okay, it's not too many, and we're thinking, God, this is the last thing we need now, because obviously it's just going to take ages, but we got a time extension for it, so it was fine. But so it took a while for us to explain the situation to the judges. I don't think she quite understood what happened at first, but we sort of talked it through, and we're both sitting there thinking, oh God, and at this point, because I know you weren't there, Jay, but like a bunch of the rest of the UK guys were watching what was going on, and they were confused about anything, and they were trying to find out. But the point the judges were pushing them back because I think we were the only two people left at this point.
Oh wow!
And,
okay, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, or at least one of the only few pairings left.
Yeah.
And so eventually the head judge comes over, sits down, explains what's happened. And the big problem is neither of us can remember which cards were originally in his hand and which ones drew off the Shaman, because we were playing so fast, we just weren't paying attention to stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so it's ruled eventually that we decided upon that he drew 4 cards off the Shaman, I think, and we would have to agree with that. One of them was shuffled in randomly, and it was ruled that that he would get a prize penalty, so I would receive a free prize. And understandably, Frank was not very happy about that. He wasn't. He tried to. He in like a rude way. He was just trying to sort of explain his side and how he feels like. He asked that, is this how it's been ruled for the rest of the tournament? It seems like quite harsh. And then the head judge equally said, okay, yes, I understand where all this, so we're coming from, but this is the World Championships and there's a lot of money on the line, so we have to rule a bit more harshly. And in the end, he didn't argue it, and I didn't argue for a higher penalty either. So I just basically stayed quiet, explained the facts, and let the judges do what they're doing. Sorry?
Just saying,
It doesn't sound harsh. I mean, it sounds pretty.
Yeah, I think honestly that sounds like it was really well handled from the judges. So I can't fault that, even if it was the head judge who swore at me.
Obviously from Frank's perspective, if you're on his side, then you obviously feel it's quite harsh. So.
Yeah. Like if it had happened to you, I'd be like, oh man, could they not give him a blah blah blah? Yeah, but go on.
Yeah, but the other thing I'd like to say, obviously I don't think Frank would watch this, but if he did, I would like to think that he thought that I sort of behaved in the appropriate way during that, because as I wasn't trying to be about it or whatever.
We know what you're like.
So in the end, I think Price penalty, and then he plays an N instead of a Sycamore, because obviously he took the cards back from the Sycamore, and obviously at that point it's more advantageous to play the N, but he doesn't draw that well off of that. I take a knockout on the X, and then I think it was a Manaphy. Yeah, no, it was Manaphy because I wanted to limit his retreating options. He chilling size. I flipped heads and wake up, thank God.
That's the flip.
Yeah, that was mega dodge. And then I must have taken. I'm trying to think what else happened, because I knew I put myself to a point where I think I decided to knock out the Articuno because I didn't want the game to come down to a point that I knew. Where was an Articuno? I don't remember. It was a non-EX because I had 2 prizes left.
Mm-hmm. That with the prize penalty, it must have been for you to take even number.
I genuinely can't remember what happened, because I remember I had this idea in my head. It was like he had to decide whether to chilling side or whether to promote a Fury Belted Toad to try and stop me getting the last knockout. So maybe I did take out a knockout on the X first.
Yeah,
I actually can't remember.
It sounds like you took the knockout first.
No, it was that. Yeah, I took a knockout 2 EXs. That's what it was. So yeah, it was either Chilling Side or the Fury Belted Toad. But he took the Fury Belted Toad route, and he ended me to 1 at this point as well. So yeah, in fact, that's how I know. Yeah, I was definitely at 1 because he ended me to 1.
Yeah.
I get really lucky and draw a Sycamore off of that, but that's actually not what I used to win the game, because he promotes the Fury Belted Toad, no energy on it, passes, and this is the last turn of time at this point. Yeah. I draw a Trader's Mail. Play it, and anyway, so I have a muscle banded Night Marcher in the active at this point, or Mew, and I have 2 Night Marchers on the bench. That's it. So I play Trainer's Mail, and I see a Battle Compressor. If my last Night Marcher is in my deck and not the last prize, I can compress it away and Night Marcher 220 and I win.
Right.
So, and it's a bit about to realize it. So looking at my hand, looking at my discard, seeing can I actually do this. So I decided, go for it. play blast compressor. There's the pump kaboo. Discard it. 90 March 220.
Nice.
Win the game.
You did it. And then what happened?
I sort of did a.
Off that heroic win.
Yeah, shook their hand. I did a thumbs up to the rest of the guys, just to say I went. There was a bit of a cheer, so I went over. We had a big group hug and all that. Then I wait for the results, and someone tells me that there's actually quite a few people who are on the 5-1-1 because, of course, in the last stream game, Patrick Landis, even though his game with Luca Schuster ended in a tie, because Patrick felt that Luca was going to win the game had it carried on, Patrick conceded to Luca.
Nice.
So there was one too many people with an X1-1 or higher record.
I think, I know it knocked you out, but I think that's still like a kind of a cool thing to do for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's because Patrick obviously knew Luca and didn't know me, so that's...
Sorry, go on.
But then, so we're talking through it, and someone says, it could be a bit dodgy, and I had a bit of an inkling as well, because I actually looked at my pairings, and I saw how everyone else did. I played Luke Kirkham, like I said, and Joe Philip went down, done too great. Ford hadn't gone on to do too well. Obviously, starting on the back foot earlier on means it wasn't brilliant either. In fact, the one person who did give me kind of good resistance was my one loss the entire weekend. The one match that wasn't a tie or a win was against Cody Walensky, who ended up coming second with Grenada.
Hey.
That was my one loss the whole weekend. But the rest of my results look a little bit iffy. And then, sure enough, I go over, look at the standings. Nicholas Pearce, 9th place. Yabu sucks to be you.
The Nicky no.
That's the nickiest no I've ever heard.
It's not even my fault!
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
And that was that was a very heroic win against Frank.
Yeah.
And to beat Frank, I don't think that was an easy feat.
No, well, he made me work for it, I'll say that much.
Yeah. Because I think he won 2 regionals back to back or something at some point.
Oh, he's a very, very accomplished player.
Like, that's, sorry, I just want to say, we were talking about the American UK versus EU type thing. One thing I will say, winning an American regional, winning the whole thing is insane. Like, I will not, like, people go, your regional's really easy. Okay, it might be easy enough to get points, but winning a whole one... Yeah. Oh, well, you've got to go through, 2 days of grueling, 15 rounds, whatever.
I don't think anyone in this chat is going to argue that against the fact that American regionals are way harder than European ones.
I mean, to win one.
Yeah.
To win one,
yeah. To even top 8 is a nightmare.
Yeah.
It's generally 9 rounds, 5 rounds, 3 rounds for top 8, right?
Yeah. Because the way to think of it is that every regional for the US is like an ECC for us. That's how insane it is.
Yeah. And to win 2, I swear it was back to back as well, or something absurd, with a very nice Veltal list expanded. It was a very clean kind of build.
So again, Frank, if you are watching this, huge respect.
Yeah.
It's well deserved.
Oh yeah, I remember that because he won because of 3 sleep flips. That was in a row, or something ridiculous
he took the only line to win against Totina, and he won.
Yeah.
Basically.
What a hero.
It required luck for sure, but it was the only possible play he had to win, and he did it, and he won.
Yeah.
So that's a style of play I can really respect, because a lot of people, when you're my conventional win has gone, I'll just scoop. A lot of people do that. I've done that before.
Mm-hmm.
He went, you know what? I'm not gonna do. I'm gonna take I will take a 1 in 35 million chance to win if it's there. It wasn't. It was 1 in 8. But it's still 3. If it 1 in 8 games, you win that game. You may as well take it.
I think it was a bit more than 1 in 8, but
yeah. I mean, I assumed it was just 3 flips, but it was probably a lot more. But I think
it was individual laser flips, and then to get heads, and then it has to stay asleep, or he has to flip another laser to get the heads again. It
was a Lysander play on a Caldio, if I remember right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, well, still.
It's just funny.
Still winning a regional, even with that, So pretty like it was like final boss mode. Like that. How I don't know how that must have felt.
Yeah.
But then yeah. So I'd say yeah. Aside from the complaints, everything really good. Really proud of you, Nick. I'm adopting you as well. I'm not sure if Charlie knows, but my other adopted son. Actually, I've too many now. I think I adopted Ryan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Ben, that's another grandson for you.
So proud.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of the other UK players had not quite so hot runs, but the fact we got so many in, pretty happy about that. Special mention to Brandon Flowers for being a hero. I won't say why. Nice guy.
Brandon Flowers, he was the guy who I queued
Don't say
behind to pick up my prize of top 16. So we were talking to
okay.
each other. He literally added me on Facebook whilst I was in line. I was thinking, wait, what? You're there. But you're there. Like, what? Yeah, really cool guy.
I spoke to him about his games, and he was playing Varvesp, and he had a really good like way of thinking about the deck as well that I like. Like he knew the matchup. He must have tested it a lot. He knew exactly which matchups you drop all plume, and that's not something in most people's minds when you come up with a deck concept where in some matchups you drop half of the name of the deck. That's that's quite big. But then I guess I understand that, having played Toad Tina.
Yeah.
half your games you're just like, goodbye Tina. I don't need you. Yeah, so yeah, really good run. Proud of you, Nick.
So,
Started
apart
it.
from the final result, sorry.
Yeah, no, speak.
So,
I've done.
apart from the final result, like, I think everyone here was pretty happy with what happened in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Nick wanted to get in there, but aside from that, I think everyone, well, maybe the guy who came second, was happy that Mega Ordino won Worlds.
Yeah.
Maybe even the guy who came second.
That I haven't seen the final because I was eating, and then I was going to go and watch the final.
It was worse than last year's, maybe.
Yeah, apparently it was over in like 5 minutes.
It was basically, the way Cody himself put it, it was basically that the one game where his deck just decided to stop working on him. And against Mega Ordino, that's the last thing you want, because if you let Ordino put pressure on you, that your Greninjas and Frogadiers are just going down. So.
Exactly. Yeah, it's a shame though, because I would have loved to see that deck on stream a bit earlier. Like,
yeah.
I think there is something to be said to put on like not the Cinderella story deck or whatever, but just something a bit more interesting. Like, it did seem that they did this with Wailord at US Nationals last year. They just like, okay, now I saw it once, I never want to see it again. But they should, like, maybe the top 8 game, they don't know how long this deck's surviving, and people want to see how it runs.
Put it on for top 8, and then if it makes top 4, go to the other game, then it might be in the finals, it might not. At least you showed it off.
Yeah, it's showing off something like Mega Ordino and Greninja Talonflame were really cool Worlds decks. Like,
yeah.
I think really good calls for Worlds. Like, Ordino beats Night March. That was nothing but a good shout there. Maybe not Muscle Band March, but
actually, I'm going to say something else. Another reason why it's a little bit upsetting. Whereas, granted, I still wouldn't have had a favourable matchup against him, but I think had I made top 8, the Night March that Tamal came up with, the one that we both played, hands down stood the best chance of beating Mega Ordino in that cut.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, because you don't play Fury Belt and you play Free Mew, and they're 50.
But Ben, you play Muscle Band. You can actually one-shot Mega Ordino. Like, regular Night Marches just can't do that.
I think Muscle Band was actually quite big and something that I always thought about, but I was just like, who cares about 220 HP Megas? Yeah. But yeah, like, well,
and also the fact that you have Mews to attack with as well means that, although the one bad thing is that Mew does get sniped for 50, which is sad.
It's a bit hard, I think. I think what you have to do, like, your psychic energies aren't anywhere near as strong because you have to have a Mew and Joltik down for that, and that's not quite what you want to be doing. But yeah, I think you had I think probably out of the cut you had the best chance against that deck.
Well, what I would have had to have done, and I did think about this a little bit afterwards, is just get rid of all my night marches apart from just 2 Pumpkaboos. Just have 2 Pumpkaboos down because then they can't snipe for the KO. And obviously, yeah, Psychic Energy isn't as effective then, but at least it's still
Well, you
a
still
viable
have 4
strategy to try.
DCE, don't you?
What, sorry?
You still have 4 DCE.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, I think that would have been a fair strategy to try. Yeah, it's a shame, but like you would have had to go through 2 more rounds, I guess, till that run, right?
Well, let's see. So let's go on the basis of, instead of like assuming my resistance would be better, let's say that, for example, Patrick didn't scoop to Luca. So in my top 8 game, I would have been 8th seed, and I would have been against Burt Walters, who was actually my round 1, day 1.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, he was playing Greninja Talonflame,
Yeah.
and yeah, I probably would have lost to, because like I said, my one loss of day 2 was against Cody's Greninja Talonflame,
Yeah,
and I do
that's-
not like that matchup at all, especially with my day 2 list. My day 1 list, because I've got Megaphones and Bursting Balloons, it's very winnable, I can just chain Hex, but not my day 2 list.
No. Yeah.
I would have to rely on Donkey Croaky, basically.
Yeah. Oh, which actually no, because they played all the Talonflames, so that
Yeah,
might.
they do, but
Yeah,
if they
just a route.
start Croaky,
Yeah.
then
That's your out, I guess, or one of your good outs. I guess, like, yeah, I mean, you could probably wait. Froakie has what HP? 50 or 60?
60.
Ah, so you can't even Quaking Punch for a knockout.
no.
No.
Sucks. But yeah, that was So I mean, we'll do a little discussion about the new format as well. Now the Worlds one's out of the way. So I mean, I guess the final like closing thing on Worlds. Just want to say any like closing things.
No, I guess, do you want to keep it on the same video? I mean, we've been going quite a bit already, or do you think it's fine just to do it all in one
We
go?
can split it up or
Yeah, just split it up
do
or-
timestamps and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a good idea. I like time. I'm still recording probably.
Yeah.
Let me
That's
just.
good.
I was going to say, I
Yeah.
think one big thing is, what do you think about the venue, or not the venue, the location next year?
Like, it is kind of like, I think Ross actually made a pretty good point in this podcast about the actual venue itself, although obviously it plays a bit of a factor. If you're just going for Worlds, it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, Anaheim, it's fine. You know, I'm not particularly excited about it, but I'm not like going, oh my god, it's the worst venue ever, like some people are either.
Yeah, I think like the thing is, okay, so I didn't go to LA this year, which is not too far from San Francisco. I believe it's a bit nearer to Anaheim, and that might be the time to go for like you know, a team cake trip or something like that. I'd say Anaheim is a really good idea for a venue, because a lot of your player base is kids, and there's Disneyland there, and there's such like that. I think on like personally, I'm not the biggest fan. I have on my list of things to do in my lifetime, Anaheim is maybe, well, definitely not on the list, but maybe on the list until Worlds announced it, on the list of places to not go to because it'll be boring. But it's not for me. It's, as you said, like, what am I interested in when I go to a Worlds place? Worlds, like that's what I'm going for, and that's perfect. Like, you could hold it in Manchester and I'd be fine. You could.
I think if
Yeah, sorry, go.
because I know they used Anaheim for other games, and the only things I've heard about it is that the venues are usually good.
The convention
I love
centre
it.
is apparently
And
really
the
good.
places so I think if from that standpoint, if you don't care about
Yeah.
where it is, then it should be good for that.
Hey, Pearce hoping. I've got good hopes basically.
Yeah.
There's the Anaheim Convention Center as well, which I could put it in.
I
which,
really
I don't know,
hope they
is it-
do.
Sorry.
I really hope it's at the Anaheim Convention
Yeah,
Centre.
I think that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. And yeah, I think it's just a really, like, I mean, I wasn't a kid who ever wanted to go to Disneyland, but I think most kids want to go to Disneyland. So, you know, it's pretty good
I imagine quite a
incentive.
few adults want to as well.
Fair. I'm not one of them either, but pretty good incentive for kids to go to a lot more tournaments, to try and get, say, day 2 trips if they keep the system similar enough as well, because, hey, you win that free trip and you get to go to Disneyland as well. Pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's a free trip, so Disneyland prices, who cares? Sorry, yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people expected Hawaii
Yeah.
because of the whole theme. So, are you happy or disappointed with that? That it's not. The
I mean,
price is ridiculous.
Yeah, I was gonna say Hawaii would be really nice, but that would also be like there'd be a lot of people getting the top 22 if it was in Hawaii. To put it that way.
one thing as well, San Francisco itself, where the venue was, and quite near there, it's one of the most like expensive places for like 100 miles around, because it's a place full of just like loads of tech companies and stuff like that. So it was really like everywhere was really pricey, and I'd be pretty happy with somewhere not quite as expensive next year. Like just a kind of like Anaheim still has like Disneyland and stuff like that, but for the most part won't be anywhere near as much.
Yeah.
Like as I said, honestly, if it was in London, let's say, because Manchester's a bit unrealistic, I'd be like, yeah, 100% going. And I'd even take honestly, at the end of the day, as long as it's just the venue's fine, who cares? You'll find stuff to do everywhere else.
Yeah.
Like San Fran had Alcatraz.
I don't have much to add to that.
Yeah,
it's just how it is.
Yeah, like hell, there's even LA. It's not just down the road for sure, but it's within reachable distance of Anaheim. If you want to make a holiday out of it, that's where you go after the event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. Honestly, I think that's like everyone else. As they said, Anaheim. Everyone was like, then I was like. Then someone said, "Oh, I guess there's Disneyland there," and I was like, oh, "Okay, that's a really smart idea, actually." Like, that to me feels like a decision for your player base. That to me feels like a sort of, well, the adults want to just play, and the kids want to go somewhere and whatever, and there's LA not too far. That sounds like the perfect place. So big respect for that. A lot of people probably weren't happy with it, but whatever.
But we have just proven them wrong.
Damn right. Be happy about it. Like, I'm happy with any decision a company makes that I agree with whatsoever, because I don't expect that to ever happen. So, yeah. I guess maybe the new format stuff. Well, let's not talk maybe too much about specifics. Just, do you like the sort of direction? How do you feel about changes? How do you feel about last format, both of you as well?
Oh, should we make a new video for this? I think because
Fine.
Right at the end of after all that, we also get two videos then.
Huh?
We also get two videos instead of one.
And there'll be the same 200 viewers for one will view the next.
Yeah.
I was also thinking of splicing this one already, putting World's Rant as a title for one, and then World's Good Stuff as the title for the other, just because people can then not watch the World's Rant, and then we won't get in trouble. So there's that. Okay, yeah. So I'll make a new thingy, and I'm gonna end it with me shouting "Fine," like that.
All right.
Okay, so new format. Thoughts on old format?
I haven't really tested much of the new format, but from what I've seen or heard, it's just seems miles better than the last one.
I will say
no
that.
Night March, no Compressor, no Toad, no Trevenant, no other things that are annoying.
Like, I think last format, the whole year was a bit not amazing because it wasn't a format that should have ever existed. Because Night March was printed with Trump Card, and then Trump Card was banned, and Night March wasn't. And now we're rotating the set where Trump Card was, and the sets after that were not printed specifically with Trump Card in mind. In fact, they might have been, but all it did was create a infinite loop kind of situation. Shaman, Trainer's Mail, all that stuff. And now the PHF set's gone, so we actually have a very real format. And it feels quite I don't know if Ben's...
Phantom Forces was a very sort of defining set in terms of how it shaped the format, and the fact that it's gone, as you just said, it just changes so much.
Yeah.
And I feel like the most easy way to summarize this format, and you stop me if you disagree with this, there's a lot that could be good, but I think it's very hard to determine what exactly will be good.
Yeah.
That was exactly what I was going to say. There's a lot of room for creativity because there aren't just decks that shut down that creativity like Night March or Toad or Trev.
So, you've got essentially Rayquaza it seems like it's going to be public enemy number 1 to begin with, but there's something you can do to any deck that's not very good against Rayquaza, which you couldn't do with Night March, and that is just chuck full Klefki in it. I mean, you can't do that quite with anything, but
there's just a lot of things you can do for it. It doesn't seem not counterable.
yeah, it seems...
There's multiple counter options. You have Raichu, you have Klefki, you have Zeb Striker, you have Parallel City.
Like
there's just things you can do against it. Night March, you could have the counter deck and still lose because it just did that.
Yeah,
that's just how it works.
You could literally have like Water Box, 3 Toad Down with Fury Belts, and like,
Articunos,
and just still lose, and you beat several of them. Oh, one thing I wanted to say. Oh no, wait, it's too late now because that would have been on the other video. It's just that your record over the 2 days was a glorious 10-1-4.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Literally, lost one match the entire weekend.
10-1-4, pretty insane. Something to be very happy about. Yeah.
10-1-4 still comes 9th.
I know, that feels like it's not a
Imagine
9th place record.
At regionals and coming 9th somehow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Imagine that having that record at Worlds and coming 9th somehow.
Hey.
Okay, yeah. So last one I didn't really I'm not sure if people really know this because most of the time we've hosted videos about decks and stuff. It's been quite standard ideas or nothing like too out of the ordinary. Like I guess Toad Aromatisse was a little bit, but we didn't really make a list and everything for that. But most of the time we're just testing like pretty standard ideas. But what our team really seems to do, especially when everyone's more active, is just any card seems to be playable because someone will find a use for it. There seems to be a lot of room for creativity, and that really lends itself to the Team Cake style, which I quite like. And we've already got some ideas bubbling.
Like, I just felt shut out of the last year because every time I'd even attempt to get into the game, it'd be, can the deck beat Night March? Can the deck beat Toad?
Trevor?
No would be the answer.
No, I have to play something that's either that or that counters it and still might lose.
Yeah, it's because, I mean, we're still going to have turn 1 item lock, but without AZ for the Plume, it's just not as potent.
Without AZ, without compressor and stuff.
Yeah.
Because the thing is with Vileplume now is that the reason why the old Vileplume was so unfair was because there weren't that many ways to play around it. Now, there are so many ways of playing around it. You have Sander, you have Hex Maniac, and supporter outs to dealing with it.
You know what you can even do? You can put a Trubbish down, evolve it to a Garb next turn, no tool, under item lock, attach a Klefki to it.
Yeah, you can actually do that.
Yeah, and then try and Trainer's Mail into a Hex for next turn, so that then next turn you can Hex and Floatstone and then permanent. I mean, that's a thing that will happen at some point this year. That exact thing's going to happen. Yeah. It's probably going to happen against me, but
revealing the secret, it's going to be playing something Vileplume based.
I think. Sorry, go.
I was going to say, I think the other thing is that you can now build decks that aren't terrible against Plume which you couldn't do before because they'd be bad against Night March, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you can play decks now that aren't as bad against Plume, but you couldn't do it before because they would be bad against Night March or something else.
I think it's because Plume lent itself to style of play, which was dump everything, hope you've just about set up everything, have 5 cards in deck, they're all DCEs. Vespiquen, KO. Same with Night March.
Hold the supporters in hand just in case you need to do a bit more.
A lot of stuff. I don't know. It doesn't feel like Plume doesn't feel as strong as it did last format, which is good, I think.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it still feels like an option, and it feels creative at the moment.
Yeah.
Like that Plume box at Wells. It's just creative.
Yeah.
That was actually Yasin's list as well.
Yes, Sam Howe, top 4.
Top 4 with it, which it was a really cool concept. I think that's definitely a deck worth trying, this format, because you've got so many options in it. I think Ninja Boy, Ninja Boy, I mean, probably losing compressor means in some decks you'll probably want 2 of supporters where you normally play 1 of because you don't have easy access to him. But Ninja Boy is just a really cool card in like a slower meta where like people aren't expecting this or that, and then you go Ninja Boy into this or that, and they go, oh, I've lost now. And I think it's gonna be good enough to have that. Whereas in Night March meta, you just needed to keep drawing, or you weren't keeping up with Night March. Like the fact that Totina Garb could lose to Night March is pretty sad. I mean, not very likely, but it could still lose a best of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easily.
Yeah. So.
Because this is kind of like relevant as well in a way to the new format. Can I draw attention to the fact that there's currently a listing on eBay for 2 full art Shaman EXs at £200?
What is it selling?
I don't know if it is. I mean, offers are open, but it is something I think it's something that is worth talking about, because as we go into this new tournament structure where the small tournaments like regionals are having higher cash payouts and stuff, card prices have been like going up and up and up.
So I don't know, like it doesn't seem like this is what Pokemon was made for originally. It seems like Pokemon was made to be like, I know cards have always been pricey, but it seemed to be a game that kids could get into.
Yeah.
And
This is just a problem. Like every time I get a new kid at League, he's got a deck and he keeps losing to all these decks, and he's like, how can I make my deck better? It's like, oh, buy a £50 card.
Yeah.
And buy multiple of them.
Yeah, buy
like,
4 of them.
How can I say that to a 10-year-old kid just getting in the game?
Yeah.
He's either going to lose every game and get demoralised, or he's going to have to cash out.
And one thing I will say actually is there are so I know Shaman still exists, Trainer's Mail, all that stuff, but without things like Compressor, Ray is actually not. So I guess we'll talk about the main sort of decks as well that we think are good. Like Ray is kind of going to be public enemy #1 to begin with until people test a lot more and whatever, I assume, because it's fine, but without Compressor to thin the right stuff, you have to play like 2 count Lysander. You can't really go to 2/1 Sycamore N like you want to. Triple Hex, like you don't have Compressor to thin and then Shaman draw and then all that stuff, because you'll be drawing bad cards. You can't Mega Turbo as easily because you don't have Compressor to dump energy in the discard. There's a lot of things that PHF. I mean, you even could start a Hooper and Shaman and not be able to move it easily because AZ's gone. Like, there are a bunch of things that actually make, like, what would be broken quite, like, okay.
It feels like you can't win a game just by drawing 7 off Sycamore, because, like, before you'd get every card you need off a Sycamore, because those are the only cards in your deck. Now, there's just stuff that you can't, that you're stuck with in the deck.
I think what ultimately comes down to is people haven't quite realised the level to which their deck building and playing mindset needs to change based on the rotation of Phantom Forces.
Yeah,
it's ridiculously different now.
Phantom Forces, like
I think we just literally list off everything that impact, like the all cards talk about Compressor, AZ, and other
stuff.
Megaphone.
Megaphone's gone as well.
But there's no tool removal.
Yeah.
That's mind blowing.
Like I think just 3 cards alone changed that Xerosic, AZ, and Compressor changed how everyone builds decks. Like, you could find every single archetype having, say, 2 Compressor, 1 AZ, 1 Hex. Even 1 Xerosic, sorry, Hex still is. Like, even a Toad deck with could just play the 1 Compressor because it plays so many supporters. Like, almost any deck could be aided by 1 Compressor because you don't want to draw into these cards. They're dead cards in your hand. You want to be drawing. You want to be drawing to 6 with Shaman, and one of those cards be a supporter, and that be Sycamore most of the time. Like the style of deck of Night March cannot exist. It's just no chance of it existing this format. There's just nothing like it, and that's really good, I think.
Yeah. Also, coincidentally as well, AZ, Xerosic, and was it Compressor were, let me just double check. 6, 5, and 1 on my top 10 most impactful losses from the standard rotation.
You did it.
Yeah. It was in case you wondering what 4 and 3 were. It was
Yeah.
Trevor and Cypher Toad. So.
That's perfectly fair. I think so. The game changes, I think, to there is some level of resource management, resource playing now. Like I think every deck has to be built differently. You can't even really build Ray to be a full speed version because you can't expect it to draw as well as it used to. So people cut things like acro bikes, favour of puzzles and stuff like that often because hell, if you do have to discard stuff, it's just right there. Special charge, it's more like you get your stuff back, you reuse it kind of thing. Like I don't know, it just lends itself a bit better. There's no like the fact someone could ever compressor away a megaphone to use that megaphone is I'm not a fan of that as a
because Puzzle Time is just weird.
Like I'm fine with Puzzle as a card.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ben, go.
I was going to say, I think that the first set of tournaments, like who does well in them, will kind of indicate what players are either able to adapt to a new sort of tournament or a new sort of format like this, because it's so different from the last one just by those few cards. And maybe we'll see some like players who were very, very strong back in like older formats when there was a bit more resource management. You couldn't just go through your deck like you can.
Yeah.
I feel like they may shine a bit more now again.
I'm hoping to see a return of Sammy.
Yeah.
No. Like, but this feels like a format that lends itself to him, and
I'm hoping to see a return of our very own Alan Hawkins.
Alan Hawkins, actually, when testing with Night March, seemed to never really go above 2 Night Marches and discard pile turn 1, because he used to play.
Really?
Yeah, he used to play so much in SP that he thinks in an SP mind. And it's about resources. You have to use cards quite carefully, all that stuff. And so no.
Night March does not lend itself well to that.
No, and now maybe you get to again. And I'm feeling like that from testing. Like, I have decks with 0 Ultra Ball now. There are some decks that I play no Ultra Ball in. And there are some, I won't say
that
what.
last format, you injured, didn't you?
Yeah.
Last format.
Yeah.
But you can still play it if you're playing Talonflame because you want to discard them. Because guess what? More cards aren't useful to draw into. But and I'm in some cases favouring Octillery over Shaman, something I thought would never happen, because Shaman doesn't draw into 6 perfect cards now.
There's also no tool removal, so Float is safe on it.
Float is very safe on Octillery. I mean, there's like weak tool removal. There's tool removal in attacks. There's tool removal in things like that. But it's just not.
Yeah.
It's not the same as I drew into Megaphone. You know.
In a way, I feel like design like that is actually better for the game.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why it's a bit of a problem is that Garbodor potentially becomes a problem. That's really the only thing.
But Garbodor needs a pet, needs something to go with it, because obviously it can't exist just on its own. And
I don't know, man. Does it Toxic Sludge, or what's it called? Psychic 4 colourless. Oh yeah. Oh, what's the new one?
Offensive Bomb, isn't it? This one.
But yeah, it just
it's
feels like there's.
I think it, or maybe that's the old one. But you know, like it has to exist with something.
Feel like there's a deck that's broken.
No.
Right now.
And right now, people are going with Mega Mewtwo with it, but Mega Mewtwo actually wants to draw quite well, and you don't do that under Garb. And there are ways to handle it. You know, if you play enough stadiums, you bounce the shrine. Decks can beat it.
Hold on. So I just realised what it was. For some reason, I thought you said offensive bog. It's actually offensive bomb.
Yeah.
I just realised.
Yeah.
And it does a grand total of 60, right?
Yeah, for a psychic and 3 colourless.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Copy that with me.
Yeah, and it does. The opponent's active Pokemon is now confused and poisoned. So you know. Woo.
Whoa. The thing is, as well, Garb can just be Lysander killed a lot right now.
Yeah, again.
Like
sorry, Lysander KO'd.
Yeah, KO'd. Sorry, Pokemon don't die.
Yeah.
We're not getting any monetization. We said kill.
It's fine. I'm not going for it right now. One day though, when we get that 5k views again, maybe if we had 5k subscribers. So
So I'll just win another regional.
Yeah.
Easy.
I feel like it's the time to try and deck build again this format. I've been having I left San Francisco a few days ago after a longer holiday, and I checked my PTCGO. So I've removed every other deck that has that's pre this format. I believe I was up to 17 new decks. Like,
It's
and
just fun to build decks this form.
Yeah.
Like you can.
Yeah, it actually
almost
is.
set
I think
it
I removed most of my decks. I kept what I do is well, for starting from last year, is that I always kept the exact list I played at Worlds, so I kept my day 1 and day 2 list this year as well.
I just unfavorite them basically, and then they're gone from my site.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, and then I also I converted some decks to expanded, deleted some, and now I've just got the new standard decks around. Maybe so. We said earlier we're going to discuss more decks in general. Maybe we should go through a quick list of what we think might be viable. Like we talked about Mega Ray already, but we can list off like a few others so we think of.
But let's not give away secrets.
No, of course not.
Oh, should we say why you think Mega Ray's number 1 at the moment?
Well, I don't know if it's number 1 deck, but I think it's number 1 public enemy.
I don't say, I didn't mean number 1, but like the top deck that you'd expect, I guess.
Well, it is the closest thing to Night March that this new format will have. It's just very quick, hard hitting, can play 4 shamans, does huge amounts of damage for not that much investment. The typical things that make decks good.
I feel like it's a deck for people who aren't quick enough to adapt to the new format.
I think that's why it was the
like
first pick for everyone.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because it loses literally Compressor and AZ and Zerosic from last format, and
but every deck has lost that.
Yeah, but it loses. It has everything about it. Otherwise, it's the same. It's got Trainer's Mail.
Same sort of play style as last format. Otherwise,
it can still play multiple hexes for Plume. It never feels completely out. Like if you, played a few games the other day where like I had 2 of my Rays killed on a turn by snipe damage and stuff like that, and then there was a Jirachi on board as well, and I recovered a Ray with 3 water or whatever coloured energy I was playing at the time. I think I was playing water for Manaphy in one turn.
Yeah.
So
that's, you can do that.
Yeah, it can do that. It's got it draws quite well. It's
any deck that can do literally 240 damage out of nowhere is always going to be a pretty strong deck.
Yeah.
But of course, as we said, it has, and it's very good that it does. It has its counters.
Yeah.
It has strong counters. Like you can't hex away Zeb Striker's damage.
Yeah, that's actually insane.
I think that's really good. Like, you just can't do, like, Night March didn't have a counter in any sense of the word. It had decks that maybe went 65-35 to it, but there was no strict counter.
Wait, hold on. You said you couldn't hex Zeb Striker damage. You mean Altaria, not hex?
You can't. Basically, you can't Altaria it. And because its own ability gets through, but if you shut off both abilities, you haven't stopped. Yeah. It can always damage through. Maybe a Rayquaza with Assault Vest. I think and
it gets
Hex.
Through still.
No, and Hex. I think.
Oh yeah, or Hex. Yeah.
Yeah, which isn't really going to be a thing, and then and then it just about survives a hit. So cool.
Like, and at that point, you're playing Assault Vest, which means that you didn't Spirit Link it, which means that you've wasted a turn.
Yeah, often the first Ray you tend to not Spirit Link, but if you've hit
that's true.
If you've hit your 1 Assault Vest, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tina's going to see a bit of play because of Megas existing, so Tina in some form, I'm not sure exactly what yet. I think
that was literally what I was about to go on to next. So I'd say I'm really, really liking just Dark Red Giratina from last one. Because it literally, I looked at a Japanese list that did well, and it literally lost 1 card, and that was Zerosic. So I just took that out, put it in a Dark Energy, and I got Super Rod for a Hooper, and I'm just testing with that list now, and it's great. Like,
yeah, it can still handle Rays. It plays like the thing is, even if it's not just Klefki, as we said. Like there are so many things you can just chuck in 2 parallel into a lot of decks, and if you're not against Ray, well, you can clear something like a Hooper or 2 Shamans off your own bench. Means they're not targets anymore.
So much in testing with that deck.
Yeah. Or you can just bump Ray down to 3 Pokemon and force it to have to put a lot into recover. Like a Xerneas Tina's another option. That seems really cool. The Xerneas break.
What is?
Xerneas break
Oh, right.
Tina.
Yeah.
That seems really fun.
Yeah, that also conversely does a number against Darkrai Tina.
Yeah, though actually, funnily enough, I have tested that matchup and won with Dark Tina because it outsped it. So
Interesting.
yeah, it can happen, I guess, because
Yeah.
But of course, the Tina isn't as strong for the Dark player as it is for Tina. But yeah, that's another option. I think Max Elixir is like, I used to not be a fan of that card. It felt like it was too much like RNG kind of thing. But you can build a deck. I think what it is because like there were decks that, Compressor was a card that just made that even stronger. Because like, I get rid of cards and now more cards and now I up my chance of energy. I think it's a reasonable card now. I think it's not by any means broken. It's attaching 4 extra energy per game is quite a lot, but you still have to hit all them. You have to.
The one really big reason why I like Max Elixir as a card, it encourages higher basic energy counts in decks, and that's something I actually really like seeing because I think that it makes stuff like Crushing Hammer a lot less strong, and I like it when cards like that aren't as strong.
Yeah, I agree. I think Crushing Hammer that was a poor reprint. It was reprinted
They also just made a direct counter to it now with that little carving.
Yeah,
they have as well.
Really that worried about it.
I
They
actually played against a Power Keeper Carbink at Worlds when playing Toad Tina. That
Rip.
and he started it.
Oh god.
Oh.
I did win that one because it was against Fire, so whatever.
Oh.
But it was he opened it, turned it over, and I turned over Toad, and we both just started laughing. Because it's like he's like, wow, this guy, and I'm like, yep, you're gonna make my life hard, aren't you? Megas. Sorry, go.
So I was going to say on that same point that it's cool, like Nick said, encouraging more basic energy in deck also means there's less cards that make the deck broken and just run straight through, because they're dead cards in a lot of situations.
Yeah,
Sycamoring into energy rather than into Trainer's Mail Compressor, I don't know, Acrobike or whatever.
Dark Tina, for example, it's fine, but like it can't fit in more than about 9-10 basic darks. And that actually might not always be enough for your... So it's, your elixirs to hit, and that's a nice little trade-off.
It is funny with Dark Tina how even though it's playing less dark energy, it actually has a higher potential damage ceiling than Turbo Dark, because the double dragons mean that you have like potentially 18 units of energy to put on, I guess.
It's
no, more than that. What am I talking about? No, way more.
You've got loads. You've got 40 per double dragon. Which
hold on. Right?
Plus the initial 20. So if 4 double dragons are on board, and let's just say your Darkrai for whatever reason has DCE, you're actually doing 180. So pretty cool. Quite like that. I think Elixir is it's a cool card. I don't think it's like broken. I could see there being like a format where games come literally like down to my elixir versus your elixir, but there's nothing that like 4 tons of energy hits really hard now. There's a Veltal still and Mewtwo, I guess, but those are beatable by things, and also an Veltal can be just countered by an Veltal. But like like say if Elixir had existed back in 2012 when Mewtwo EX came out, that would have been just so harsh, because that would have been like, I hit Elixir, my Mewtwo kills yours, GG. Now it's like, I missed the Elixir, I don't Fright Knight this turn or something like that, and that's acceptable.
I think it's a cool card, but I'm a little bit worried about it because you have to build a format around it that doesn't become broken from something like that.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is very easy to do.
Yeah. So fun fact, by the way. It is 18 units of energy. So you have 10 and then 4 doubles.
Yeah.
So if you put down every single energy and you play 10 darks and 4 double dragons, you would do 380 with Dark Pulse.
Not bad. It could nearly kill that oversized Zoroark promo.
Yeah.
392 with a Fury Belt.
Whoa. 410 with Giovanni.
Oh
It's
boy.
broken.
Oh no, the stadium as well.
Yeah,
420.
420
There we go, we made
plays it.
Yeah.
In expanded, you can add plus powers to that,
Oh,
and
God.
instead
And then
play
puzzles.
laser bank and muscle band. Oh, broken.
Puzzles.
Yeah, puzzles as well. That's
Get
it.
John Con back. Why
That's
not?
it. Let's do it. Turn one, four double dragon dot deck.
Fortress.
Yeah, and Wally into 4 Claritzas to attack the double dragons onto a mega. A mega that you can't evolve turn one.
This sounds like the most convoluted, like unlimited win condition deck I've ever seen.
Let's do it. Unlimited 150, go.
Just broken time space in. Why not? We got this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think so yeah, back to whatever we were just talking about. I think there are a lot of cool ideas that people like. We're gonna see people just come up with the craziest thing, and it comes like top 4, and then everyone's like, "That wasn't. What is that? That's not those. That combination of cards. I forgot that card even existed." I'm gonna hear that a lot this season.
Yeah.
Is
Not
there
from
other...
Ryan, he knows every card.
Yeah, that's what
Do you remember Duran I played that in White Lord?
the
Everyone's
Duran.
like, what the hell does this Duran do that discards until you have 4 cards in your hand?
What was the
Or your
attack
opponent
called?
discards until they have 4 in their hand. And Ryan was just like, yeah, I know what that does.
Yeah, that was back at London Regionals before it
That was
won
London.
in
That was
Europe
before
and
it.
stuff.
Yeah, that was before the Ninja days.
So
That
yeah,
was hilarious.
like
are there any other specific decks you want to mention before you finish off? We
I
already
mean,
mentioned Mega
there's
Mewtwo,
quite a
mentioned
few.
Tina.
Yeah.
There's
I think a lot there's like a lot of megas have potential because of what they do. Like they do 2-hit style attacks, right? And then those 2
Mega
hit,
Sizzle.
yeah, Mega Sizzle. A lot of them compare with Guard as well, which is nice. So I think Mega Guardy has potential. Mega Sizzle, Mega Sceptile might come back again. Not too convinced by any of these like that much right now, but there's a lot of like potential there.
so like we were saying in the beginning, lots that could be good, but we don't know what actually will be.
And then you still have like Speed Dark type decks, or maybe we see Zoroark return as well. Rainbow Road is a really interesting deck. Now you've got dual types and stuff like that. That's
and then there's also fire when you're Volcanion with stuff.
Yeah, that was a deck that actually saw some play at Worlds as well. I mean, you lose Blacksmith, but
a lot of Japanese players are playing it with Pyro.
So the baby, I guess, or the because the
both. You play like the EX, you play the non-EX, and you play Pyro, and then some guy even played Pyro Break as well.
Oh
why
yeah,
not?
that was Nathan McCluey's last round opponent. He was paired down on the winning in to a Japanese guy playing Volcanion Pyro Break, and he couldn't find. He was playing Toad like Water Box but with Hammers style, and he couldn't find his Hex. Like he had to discard 3 VS game on.
UK players losing Pyro. Oh,
Yeah.
I know.
Did the
UK
Japanese
players.
guy
Sorry.
have any chance of making it in or not?
Nope, he was paired down.
And he didn't scoop or anything.
No, that's the Japanese way though. Yeah, like I guess to them it's like, oh, this is a random guy. Why would I scoop? Whereas to us it's I can see it, but to us it's like I literally gain nothing from this. That person gains stuff. I'll scoop. Yeah, that's to some people. Didn't happen to me at
And
Nationals.
again, it's not like you're scooping someone else out of it as well. That's the other thing. It's like literally either one person makes it or nine make it.
Literally nothing is gained and something is lost. But it's not like you ask or whatever. He just gave it a shot and lost sadly. But I mean at that point I don't know why someone would still be playing, but that's just me. As he said, Dark Tina. I think there are a lot of like cool ideas. I've built some stuff that I don't think people would have thought about just yet. So I might reveal that with maybe a regionals win as well. Very unlikely.
Yeah, sure.
But
was there another list you guys suggest? It sounded like you're about to say something.
Too much of our stuff is secret. This is the problem. We
I
like
just don't remember what else there was.
every day I hear like 3 new ideas,
Yeah.
and they often include cards I've not heard.
Oh, I guess we mentioned it before that I get like Plume Box is still.
Yeah, Plume. I
Some
think
people are
Plume
going to
Box.
play that. And that's,
Yeah,
I guess no AZ now makes it a bit worse.
I think like
You've got
Quite
Olympia
a lot worse.
yeah, it's no secret, I guess, that Olympia exists. So that was a card I expected for people going, huh? What's that? But everyone seems to know about it, so no point trying to hold that. But yeah, it helps. I don't think it's like the best card. It's not AZ.
No, definitely not.
One thing I've tested that deck a bit. When you AZ, you could pick up a active that you chuck down. Not an active. You pick up a Pokemon that you just chucked down because you needed to draw more with Shaman, or you were going to Sycamore it away or something. It also heals for every damage rather than 30. And picks up your
Yes, it does.
picking up your Plume and playing the remaining items is pretty good as well. Like the deck only plays a few, but yeah, Olympia doesn't quite cut it compared to AZ, but it's still playable. Yeah, I think there are a lot of really cool ideas. I'm looking forward to, seeing what everyone comes up with, and like this, I think Ray is first and foremost the deck to beat, but I think that will die down a bit. I think it might be already, at least in our like smaller circles. I mean, we played a few games, I guess, around another UK players. Joe's lost there yesterday, and there are a lot of different decks floating about that room. Very little. Well, there are some mega stuff, but it was all sorts of decks going around. Ideas I wouldn't have even considered myself. So yeah, a lot of cool stuff. Stage 1s, just in general, can be a deck.
Yeah.
You just got to make it beat the meta that you're in. We're going to see a lot of crazy metas, completely different metas, where like a certain card is really popular in like one small region of America, and everyone's playing a deck to beat that card. I can picture this happening. I'm quite looking forward to it.
I think this is the first format in a while where I'm both kind of confident that we can build decks or do well in a tournament, but also I'm not confident what will win.
Yeah, that's fair. Whereas we're pretty confident what would win a lot of tournaments and whatever.
Yeah, there was like a set standard of what you'd think would win.
Yeah,
And Mega Ordino blew that out of the water. But...
Yeah, true.
Yeah, this new season makes me happier solely on the basis that I'm going to see more Ben at tournaments.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think we'll.
Please. Ben.
We'll see.
I'm behind the green screen. So.
One thing we don't know just yet is the exact like structure and like I'm not sure entirely about this LCs thing that's been going around about how many LCs are best.
A lot of weird stuff.
What's going on?
Nick has an NDA, so can't tell us.
What is happening with regionals?
Yeah, we don't know how many regionals we're getting. I keep asking Nick, but he won't blink once for one and twice for two. So whatever.
Do we have a nationals? I don't actually know.
I think nationals is gone.
So we don't have that. So that's
technically, cool. But we're gonna have like some European level tournaments type thing.
Well, there's the continental championships that have been announced, haven't they?
Yeah, so like, something I can't do to you.
Yeah, sadly. ECC will still exist.
Yeah, that's already been announced as well. Yeah. So book your flights now with 50 quid return, EasyJet, London Southend.
One thing, one thing someone suggested, which I think is very possible, is that so there's been a lot of prize money announced for regionals and stuff like that, but
which is why less regionals are happening.
Yeah, but it's very possible there will be events that are maybe not named that, but still offer the same CP level, just not the same price support.
Yeah.
I think that's a very possible thing, because otherwise you sort of shaft your players. And cool. I think I've made it very clear on now the last video on or whatever order I upload these, that that's not a good idea. And I think actually, you know what? this set that came out, Steam Siege, is one of the first sets I've looked at in a while where it looked like Pokemon did R&D. Where it looked like they looked into the format that would come from it. And that's definitely not something they've done for a while.
Yeah, I can see that actually.
Like, so they
I felt
looked into the future where megas and stuff exist and went, you know what, we'll just chuck some stuff in here. Klefki, and then stuff that can play parallel and be okay.
Also, like, Klefki is just like one of the coolest design ideas we've just had in a while, and like, such a wall of text as well. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like the ability.
It's like, I feel like they're doing that more and more, like because they had Ninja Boy last set, or is it this set as well?
Yeah, Ninja Boy this set
as well. So they just bring in cards out which are actually creative and make decks feel, I don't know, fun.
Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of fun. This is not something I've said for a year in Pokemon, honestly. Like, like I think everyone gets a little hopeful whenever a new format comes out and goes, "Oh, this format looks really interesting," and then someone finds like one broken thing, and then it breaks everything, and no one's happy anymore. But let's hope not. Spirits up.
It feels less possible this format.
Yeah. Basically, play. If you think that's going to happen, just play Quad Zeb Striker at the first tournament. It doesn't
just
beat
have fun.
Yeah, just
because you can now.
It feels like there are so many viable decks, and it feels like a good player can play one and top 8 most things.
Yeah. And it is strange as well because I'd say there were actually quite a few viable decks in the last few formats as well, but it still didn't feel as much of a varied because Night March was still the pace setter.
Yes.
Now, like, we have the variety, but it's also there's not that overarching worry of but Night March.
Yeah.
Like, it's just those 3 words.
It's also the type of the deck. It's also the type of deck that Night March and the other decks were that dominated.
Yeah.
Because like it's not fun to lose turn 1 to something doing 220 damage.
Yeah.
It's not fun to lose because you're locked out of a game turn 1.
Yeah.
Like if a deck was the best deck in format, like I don't know, going back formats, I don't know, TDK, Dark, that sort of. You didn't feel like you lost a game turn 1.
No.
Even
it may have been the best deck. Well, TDK isn't the best example because I don't know if that was.
You could still be donked, I guess, but then you'd have to be playing something that can be donked.
Yeah.
The damage wasn't
and
240.
the decks that could be donked, they trade that off in like staying powers. If they stayed in, they were probably winning that game like radials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it just feels like this. You can play a game now.
Yeah.
Even if there is a best deck in format, there doesn't feel anything
like
where you can't have a game against it.
Even something like Luxchomp, which is the best deck at its time, like that deck can run out of steam. Like it took one of taking like really cheap quick prizes. So if it ran out of like attacking steam in
so
earlier
you
on,
actually had to handle
just...
resources and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this feels like it's doing that again. Like, I feel reasonably confident that we'll see more like actual skillful games. Like there'll be backward and forward games again as well, more often than there was. And the backward and forward might not be every turn something dies. It might be like, oh, I set up this win condition, but then he did this. Like, there's not even AZ to block win conditions now, or scoop up, that's gone as well.
We actually might see 2-shot KOs.
I know, and that'd be real. And there's no... sadly, Crushing Hammer's been reprinted, but there's nothing it says broken with anymore.
No.
There's no Toad equivalent.
And they released a counter. Like, if you're that worried, there is a counter now.
Yeah.
Imagine if something like Carbink existed during, like, older formats.
Yeah.
When Crushing Hammer was so dominant.
That would be really nice, actually.
Yeah, like, I actually wish they had kept up the ancient traits and given that Omega barrier. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Just go, and then not reprint Crushing Hammer anyway. If they had done that, that'd be...
It keeps sneaking in, I don't understand.
Yeah,
it was in the
actually, you know what?
Starter deck.
If they just...
the Kala starter deck.
Yeah, it's in these like weird fringe sets, isn't it?
Yeah, do you know which ones I use every tournament I play them in? Emerging Powers ones.
Yeah.
They are 6 years old. 5 years old, sorry.
They just don't go away.
Yeah. Like, you know what?
I think I had like a mixture of Emergency Powers and Legendary Treasures one, but I've been like slowly pulling them for generations and I've been like slowly changing them over because I prefer the artwork onto that one.
That's fair. The energy keeper carving wouldn't have even needed, like it doesn't need what's it called, Omega Barrier. It just needed Crushing Hammer to not be printed.
Yeah.
Like I think Flare Grunt is a perfectly reasonable card.
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Enhanced Hammer is, I think.
I think Enhanced Hammer is absolutely fine. Especially
It's just
now.
crushing.
I think, like, for example, if Enhanced Hammer was Lost Remover, or whatever it was called, it wouldn't be, like, the special charge, so I think Enhanced Hammer's fine. It's like a tempo kind of card now, where you force someone using something unfair, which, that's like special energies, that's what they're supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be unfair. You can only run 4 in a deck. You have to find that specific one, and then they can be removed cheaply.
Yeah, I will say that although I think I agree Enhanced Hammer is fine because of special charge, I think in an ideal world neither of them should exist because like special charge it's a bit good. Like
I think
I think it's okay now.
yeah, I think it was just in a complete speed format. I think it's too strong. Like special charge and Night March, like cool. I have 3 cards in deck. 1 is a DCE. Now I have 5 and 3 are DCEs. Do I win every game, please?
So special charge was in my day 1 list, and that card is clutch. Although I didn't play it day 2 again because
you had
DCE
I remember that came about from a weekend where I can't remember. I went. Wait, did you go? I went round to Mal's and Luke's and stuff, and it was the.
I think I might have been there as well.
No, it was the Force of Will. Nationals.
Oh no!
Yeah,
no.
And like Tamal just said, it's like how broken it was. As like you just put, you've got 1 DC left. You just put 2 back in. You don't need to always puzzle them. It saves your puzzles, meaning you can puzzle like 2 VS or 2 as in for supporters.
Yeah. Or you can even do. Tamal mentioned this as well, and I remember us discussing this because you told it to me after this weekend, and that was what convinced me to play it. Because you went and talked about it with them, and then he said to others, "Yeah, it's really legit." You can puzzle for a special charge and something charging 2 DCEs.
Exactly.
So you have like that multiple utility.
In testing, I've definitely puzzled for special charge and DCE once.
There you go.
Yeah,
there's one. Go on, sorry.
No, I was just say puzzle is a kind of. I like the card in a slower format. It lends itself to a resource fight.
What I like about it is that now you can't Sycamore like into 2 puzzle pieces as easily. So you can't Sycamore. You don't get 5 cards plus 2 of any card you want in a deck from a supporter.
Yeah, and you can't just chuck whatever in to get those exact cards early game either.
Yeah.
Or earlier on. Yeah, we've come up with some cool ideas. I don't know what much there is to say. I think I might just add this on the end of the other video.
I was going to say that tool cards actually work again.
Yeah. Tool cards aren't... Oh, I lost the tool immediately.
Yeah, you can actually play tools and they do what they're meant to do, just stick on a Pokemon.
Yeah, like...
So there's a lot more creativity.
You play them straight away. That's like keep umming and ahhing. It's like, ooh, do I play anyone? Do I play 2? And
EXP Share is actually a cool card again.
Yeah, EXP... Oh, that's another card we didn't mention, actually. So Max Elixir, which is really cool. And then EXP Share is just another card that's, like, been unseen for, like... I mean, it came out in Primal Clash. What winning deck played that since Primal Clash? Don't think anything has. Nothing.
And also, even when they were first printed in Next Destinies, like, what played it? Tool Drop?
I mean, Tool Drop did, but there was
I think there was a couple.
No, that was Plasma Storm. There were a few decks in 2012 that did, like Terraki and Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it lends itself to a slightly slower kind of thing, and that means you can't chuck a Fury Belt on what you're doing because you can't remove your own tools either.
Yeah.
Which is good. It's good in a way. Which it just means that you sort of have to pick. You have to pick from the design, like, of your deck. You can't just pick in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
It feels like they brought back a game mechanic which has been lost since Tool Scrapper came out.
Yeah, and tool removal should be a bit more balanced. Like, I don't mind it on a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Especially a Pokemon that can be garbed, shut down. Like, I know Garb's going to be a bit strong because Float can't be removed, but it can be killed.
Yeah, can you imagine if they
KO.
reprinted Windstorm?
Is that the flip one?
No, that's what we call Tidal
Oh
Wave.
god, they should definitely not bring that. That'd be a very interesting
I
card.
remember-
That's basically Megaphone plus Windstorm on a coin flip.
I remember at 2012 Worlds, there are quite a few Japanese players who had, because they already had Dragons Exalted, had the thing that the flip to remove all tools in their deck, because they were so used to Scrapper. They were just like, I need something to remove tools.
Yeah, they played Tropical Tidal Wave.
Yeah. But yeah, Windstorm is discard a combination of 2 tools and stadiums in play.
Oh, that's a really bad.
I think it has to be your opponent's tools. Thinking about it, but I'm not sure.
Okay, that's fine, because I think removing your own tools is a bit.
I think having a cheap stadium removal is not bad for the game, especially because this is a stadium-heavy format right now.
Yeah.
And Paint Roller is not great.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
that's a card I forgot about, Nick.
Yeah.
That's great.
Play in a format where you either have to like play a stadium counter like Delinquent, or play stadiums. It doesn't feel that healthy right now.
Yeah, that's true.
It feels like a part of the game which is stuck, which I don't really like.
Yeah, I like the idea of stadium removal a bit cheaper. I think, like, now Nick's mentioned it, there will be about 3 or 4 decks probably by tomorrow where I put Paint Roller in them. So
You're welcome.
Nice. I didn't even consider it. That's a like. There we go. We already got one in the video. That's a card I forgot about. So
Yeah, you should literally, just make a video. That's a card I forgot about.
Yeah.
So just make it like that.
here we go. So first Paint Roller. Oh my god, it's Ancient Origins. It's then draw a card as well, so you have to discard the stadium.
Yeah, you can't just draw a card.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I think we've covered some ground. We've not gone into too much detail, but we gotta keep our, something for our regionals winning video.
Yeah, we did it last year.
Yeah, do it again.
kept Septel down.
Yeah, that was really well timed essentially when it won, because it was the very first regional where no one was expecting anything like that at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that's don't know what much else there is to say.
I think we've covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess GX Pokemon.
GX.
No, I mean that's not for ages though. We've still one entire set before we even.
I know, but we've seen it, so they've released the fact it exists. This new thing.
I think I don't know. I think the free switch card is really strong.
Yeah.
I think that might be too
I
good.
don't like it.
Nah, I'm Keldeo Float in Expanded is nasty enough, and you still have to get Float, and there's turn 1 item lock. And this is just let's just put a card down, and then I switch forever now. So,
I wish they made it just made them Pokemon Star cards again.
Yeah,
You can only play
a
in a deck.
one of would be cool, and then that would mean the one of GX attack is fair. It's gonna.
Maybe, do you think they maybe might announce that as something
Well,
that's?
they don't have it on the card because they released all of Snorlax, didn't they?
Yeah, it's not on the card itself, and it normally
with
is.
stuff like that, they always do with Ace Specs did it as well.
Yeah,
So.
Ace
I wish they just did.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's
it
a bit
for
of a
fair?
shame.
If you knock it out, then that's their thing gone unless they play Super Rod or whatever.
I also think maybe you shouldn't be able to rod it back.
Yeah, maybe.
Depends, because they're making them very strong, so they're, I think. And it's just power creep, because they're just the X's. That's all they are.
I was kind of disappointed. It felt like they're putting the game in the right direction, kind of calming things down a bit, and then they're just like, nope.
No.
I think as long as their HPs aren't too ridiculous, maybe.
Well, to put it in perspective, Snorlax is 190, so I'd imagine 160 to 180 still.
Yeah, they're
because
gonna
Snorlax
be.
is one that normally had more HP.
Yeah.
So.
They're just slightly more powerful EXs, I assume.
It's not like the most egregious example of power creep I've ever seen, but it's still not
No,
brilliant.
It's an EX with like a G booster on it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of thinking about it.
Yeah, but G Booster was a one-off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what it should have been. Just
Yeah.
like a one-off.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. It depends what else is there that balances it. Like, and it depends on the cost of the energy cost. Like,
Yeah.
I
It's just the abilities I don't like on a basic.
yeah, I think those abilities are okay on stage ones. Like, for example, Zoroark exists still, but it's unplayable really in expanded. Everyone plays Keldeo because it's just so much easier, and Zoroark isn't too playable unless you're attacking with it now. And then it still needs float to retreat. So, you know, that's a more balanced thing than just switch. And it's switch as well. It switches anything into anything else. So I can go something like Greninja, hit, retreat into a Greninja, hit Shuriken again, and then switch with that, and then Shuriken again. And it's not like a supporter, so I'm not losing, you know.
Is it switch for any Pokemon? So like with Vileplume as well?
It might. I don't actually remember if it's any Pokemon to any Pokemon.
It reads once per turn. You may subtract it from one of your bench Pokemon.
So
that's
very good.
A Vileplume card.
So everyone, remember Vileplume box. That's definitely a deck.
And at least you can't Hooper for it. That's the saving grace, I guess.
Oh, that's why they're GX, not EX.
I think that's literally the only reason.
Some people.
I don't think that was the reason.
Nah, that's going to be accidentally hoopered for a lot.
Yeah. For the first couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, maybe for ages. I'm going to keep forgetting.
Really?
Yeah, it's just by me. Just by me, dude.
You're a special case, though, Jack.
I'm going to forget every single time and just go, yeah, cool. Hooper for Shaman, Soul Glaileo, and the other one. Because one of them moves Psychic Energy as well. Just play that.
Yeah.
Moves.
It's just. Oh.
It's a basic
I'm worried
Aromatisse. Like, what is that? I'm hoping that cards around it keep it kind of like okay, or the abilities are really strong, but every deck can play them. But it's the attacks, like they better be something like 5 metal and 5 fire, so that they're not too playable.
Let's have to wait and see.
Yeah, Nick already knows there's insider intel.
I don't know.
Nick
Yeah.
actually made GX cards, by the way, if anyone's watching.
Yeah, I was just there like,
You watched
yo, Mr. Shihara, I got this like sick new idea, yeah, and so here it is.
I've been watching
like
a lot of
EXs.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
But instead of E, you get a G,
Yeah,
right? And then
Nick was watching too much Yu-Gi-Oh!
yeah. Yeah, so I'm a little worried, but you just gotta play what cards come to us, you know. It's well, Ben didn't play as much, but we survived Night March format, so
Yeah, I just didn't try.
yeah. We got a lot of ideas again, and that's cool.
I
So
remember seeing the card though and thinking that's a Yu-Gi-Oh card, and then they announced it's called GX. It just looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh card.
the appearance of it as well, like how the text is
Yeah, it
laid
just
out.
looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh
Yeah.
card.
It doesn't.
But I kind of disagree. Like, you don't usually get no full art cards at all in Yu-Gi-Oh, so it's not really that kind of evocative for me in that sort of sense. So obviously GX is but
I don't know. It just feels like over flashy and not about the card text. But that's maybe how I play card games. Like, I never remember names really of cards. I remember text.
Yeah.
So
Anything else?
Octillery, I like that. I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Octillery again. Like there, people aren't gonna play it solely because because of the sort of meme that came about of like, oh man, why aren't you playing Octillery? It's just almost a shaman every turn. But right now, it's gonna be that in some decks. But
Yeah.
people aren't gonna be playing it because, you know.
They're also releasing it in that thingy deck, aren't they?
Oh, What deck?
Keldeo.
Oh, the Keldeo. Okay, I didn't know that.
I
Oh,
think
we,
so.
I
That's
think
not a £10 card anymore.
we get Mew EX again, right?
Yeah, we do. And not only that, but Karen's in the Battle Arena deck as well, so that's a card we're getting soon.
That's it. That's a card we haven't mentioned yet.
Wait,
Karen will come before any regional, probably.
Are the cards in, like, are they reprints? Like, do we
They
get...
have the old set numbers.
Yeah, so...
They have the original set numbers.
So Keldeo is not playable. Like Mewtwo
So is it a new
Darkrai.
Mew yet?
Sorry?
You said we get Mew EX back. Is it a new...
Oh, actually, that's one I don't know.
No, that'll definitely be a new one because it's got new artwork. So
Right.
yeah, it'll definitely be some sort of promo. Yeah, that's coming back in standard. But actually, I say that oh yeah, the cards in the Battle Arena deck will have like the old set numbers, but we actually don't know that. That's just an assumption on my part based on the old Battle Arena decks.
Oh,
So,
did you just break an NDA, Nick?
no.
That's a real Nicky no-no.
I won't lie, I don't really want Keldeo back with
No.
Floatstorm can't remove.
No, but it's that's a bit more balanced than a Soul Glilililo.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I can't remember which one's which.
Soul Galeo, more like LOL Galeo. Right.
Okay, on that note, I think we should end it.
I think I'm going to stick this as one video because I know it's quite long, but our discussion wasn't enough.
Right, you're going
for
to
that.
timestamp it.
Yeah, probably if I know how to do that.
Just go in the description and literally say what time we start talking about.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I can do that. Yeah, I'll probably do a couple of timestamps like World's Rant, World's Good Stuff, Nicky No Tournament Report.
Should we explain what Nicky No is, or should we just like leave it as?
It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I think coming 9th at Worlds is a bit of a Nicky No, but I've seen much bigger Nicky No-nos. Because that wasn't entirely your fault. I mean, sure, you could have, won the game you lost and or tied, but well,
So
literally only lost one game the whole weekend. Anyone who
no,
gets green light came second.
That's really
So
cool.
one match even.
Was Free Pokemon Capture the original Nicky No?
That was a big Nicky No.
Yeah, not even I'm going to argue against that one.
Oh, actually, you know what? What I think Catcher's maybe a playable card again. This format. If you can find a fast enough deck for it, one that takes cheap prizes, Catcher might be useful again. That's a card that I remembered, sort of. But I haven't found anything for it yet, and I don't know if there is, but there might be. It's like a keep on the lookout type card.
Oh, Jake, there is one deck.
Oh boy.
I can't say it.
Oh, okay. I think I know what you're thinking of.
I mean, have we ended it now? I thought we ended it.
Oh, I didn't officially.
Alright, let's end it now.
Let's end it. So it was frozen on Nick's face, and that was nearly perfect to end it on, but he's moving again. So, well, thanks for watching, everyone. This has been a discussion and the stuff about the worlds, and I hope we've helped everyone do nothing. I can't remember what we were talking about. What was I doing?
Ending the video.
Oh, goodbye. Everyone wave. Ow, I broke my
I'm
wrist.
waving, just trust me.
I trust you. Alright.